On day 1, I spawned in as MrBeast, the YouTuber famous for his big money and crazy challenges. But wait, I'm so small and I don't even have a beard. I'm not MrBeast, I'm Baby Beast. Before I could think about increasing my size or my fortune, a big mean bounty hunter came running out of some nearby woods. Uh-oh, is that a bow and arrow?
That's right, and I'm a dead shot with this thing too. I'm the toughest, nastiest bounty hunter around these parts, and you better start running, cause someone put a bounty on your head.
A bounty? What does that mean?
It means someone is gonna pay me the big bucks if I can capture you in 100 days. And trust me, it won't take 100 days, cause I'm the best there is.
Before I could say anything else, he started firing at me. The bounty hunter was such a good shot, I had to run for my life deeper into the forest, while he just laughed at me. Escape this bounty hunter for 100 days? Boy, do I have my work cut out for me this time. On day 2, I made my way into the closest forest I could find. I didn't stop, knowing that the bounty hunter might still be chasing me. Here in the trees, I have way more cover. It'll be harder for the bounty hunter to hit me with his arrows. Gosh, and I definitely don't want to get hit by those arrows. I only have 3 lousy hearts. I kept running, looking over my shoulder now and then to see if anybody was following me. Phew, it looks like I might have lost him. For now, anyway. That's when a huge gorilla charged out of the trees. He was buff and tough, as you'd probably expect from a gorilla. Sorry that I'm in your forest, Mr. Gorilla. I'd give you some money for it, but I'm not full MrBeast yet. It's an emergency though. I'm being chased by a bounty hunter. The gorilla laughed.
Yeah, I know you're being chased by a bounty hunter, because he hired me to help him. If I take you to him, we're gonna split the bounty.
Oh, come on, that's not fair. How can you sleep at night going after innocent people like this?
Believe me, the bounty money will help. With that money, I'll be a gorillionaire.
And with that, he attacked me, pounding me with his huge gorilla fists. I tried to fight back, but without any weapons and only my puny punches, I didn't leave a scratch on him.
Huh, this really is like taking candy from a baby.
Just when it seemed like all was lost, a donkey with a saddle came running at us out of the woods.
Hop on my back if you want to live.
So I hopped on the donkey's back, and she carried me out of there. That was close. Too close. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. On day 3, the kind donkey who saved me took me back to her secret hideout, deep in the woods. There, I met the donkey's friend, a pig who was also hiding out.
This is Napoleon. He's the smartest pig I've ever met.
Well, I don't know about the smartest, but I definitely know a thing or two.
Wait, that's perfect. If you're super smart, then maybe you can help me with my quest.
What quest is that?
I'm being chased by the meanest, scariest bounty hunter in the world, and if he gets me in the next 100 days, I'm toast.
They say the best defense is a good offense. If you don't want this bounty hunter fella to get to you, then you need to stay under the radar, get strong, and get him first.
Now that's a cool idea. How would I start, Napoleon?
You're gonna need tools, weapons, and a secret base for starters, and from there, the training will begin.
Taking Napoleon's advice, Donkey and I set off further into the forest. The bounty hunter wouldn't get me over the next 100 days, I'd get him. On days 4 to 5, Donkey and I decided to start gathering our first materials. The forest was full of trees, so it wouldn't be hard to find wood. Come on, Donkey, let's get ourselves some wooden blocks. It wasn't easy to punch down the trees, but with the help of Donkey, we'd soon broken down enough trees to make a crafting bench and some basic wooden tools. It's crafting time. I made myself a wooden pickaxe, perfect for a low-level player like me.
But why settle for a low-level tool? You'll be able to mine, chop, and harvest even faster with stone tools.
Donkey had a point. I used my wooden pickaxe to mine into the ground and collect some stone blocks. Then, with the help of my crafting bench, I created my first set of stone tools. But most importantly of all, I made myself my first formidable weapon, a super cool stone sword. Let's see that bounty hunter mess with me now. The next piece of advice Napoleon had given me was building a secret hideout. It couldn't be too obvious, or the bounty hunter would find me easily. I picked a spot between some trees and started mining downwards. Underground would be the perfect spot for my base. I built some stairs and a place for Donkey and I to sleep underground, with some torches to light the way. Hopefully the bounty hunter would never notice us here. But all this mining and crafting had worked up a hunger in me. That's when I noticed an apple on the ground. Oh, that's perfect! I picked up the apple and ate it. Then something amazing happened. I leveled up, growing into a slightly bigger MrBeast, with 4 hearts now rather than 3. This is awesome! Next I need to start growing my bank account. On days 6 to 8, I decided to go exploring the plains again. The bounty hunter would probably never expect me to go back there. Still, I didn't want to push my luck. That's why I kept a low profile, crouching and trying to sneak around as much as I could. When you're up against a crazy bounty hunter, stealth is a good skill to practice. But my stealth came under fire when I saw an innocent young gazelle getting chased by a gang of spooky husks. I wanted to stay under the radar, but I could not help someone in trouble. Get away from her, you nasty husks! I pulled out my stone sword and charged in, ready to take them all on. But the battle wasn't as easy as I'd hoped. The husks attacked back, and I was fighting for my life. One of the husks attacked me and knocked off some of my hearts. That's it, no more Mr. Nice Beast. Fueled by my determination, I fought back, and soon all the husks were destroyed. Then the gazelle came in to thank me.
Thank you, you saved me. I'll be forever in your debt.
Don't mention it, gazelle. Is there anything else I could do to help?
Well, I was wandering across the plains with my father, Papa Gazelle, when all these undead attacked. He told me to run, but he's still trapped back there. Can you help him?
Of course, gazelle. Let's do it. On days 9 to 10, me and the young gazelle ran across the plains, looking for her father. He had to be around here somewhere.
Look, that's him, over there.
I turned and saw the last thing I wanted to see, Papa Gazelle being chased by a wither boss. He was firing explosive skulls and barely missing the poor gazelle. Uh-oh, withers are stronger than anything else I've faced.
Please, we need to try. It's the only way to save my papa.
I couldn't say no to that, so I once again took up my sword and ran towards the wither, trying to hide my fear. Pick on someone your own size, wither. So then, he started picking on me. The wither turned and fired a flaming skull that exploded on the ground next to me. I immediately knew there was no way I'd be able to win this fight at my current strength. I'll never be able to stop the bounty hunter if I get destroyed by a wither. Feeling ashamed of myself, I ran away. I retreated back to the young gazelle. Come back to my base with me, gazelle. We'll figure out a way to save your dad back there. On days 11 to 12, I came back to my base with Gazelle, ready to make some upgrades and improvements. We went underground, and I mined an additional room for Gazelle to sleep in. But that's when I realized something important. An underground base is a great hideout, but if the bounty hunter finds us here, we're trapped. I need to build an escape tunnel. So that's what I started building. The escape tunnel would be an ongoing project though. I couldn't build one big enough for us all in just one day. During my day of mining and crafting, I paid another visit to Donkey and asked her what she knew about the bounty hunter and why he could have been after me.
Well, it's probably got something to do with the prophecy.
Prophecy? What prophecy?
For the longest time, humans have kept the beasts down. You know, beasts like me and Napoleon and Gazelle, and humans like it that way. But prophecy tells of a human who will liberate the beasts from human control and deliver us all to freedom. The prophecies say that this man would be named MrBeast.
Wait, MrBeast? I'm playing MrBeast. Maybe the prophecy is about me.
That explains everything. The humans must think you're going to free all of the beasts, so they pooled their money together to hire the best bounty hunter in the world, the man who's known for being able to capture anybody. But if you can defeat him, you might be able to free the beasts.
But I wasn't even strong enough to beat the wither yet. I needed to get a lot stronger before I could do that. In the meantime, I used my stone tools to start mining for iron underground. This would help make all my tools and weapons stronger. After a short time, I found a nice stash of iron and mined it up. And it isn't all about fighting, it's important to have food too. That's why I started adding extra chests into my underground base where I could store all the apples I collected from the forest. On days 13 to 15, I once again returned to Donkey and asked her for advice on how I could get stronger.
Well, the best way to get stronger is by training. And the only way to train is to really test yourself. Which biomes have you visited?
Now that you mention it, Donkey, I've only ever visited the forest and the plains.
There's your problem. You're never gonna get stronger if you don't master every biome. Try to defeat a powerful enemy in the desert next.
Great idea, Donkey! Before I headed to the desert biome, I needed to upgrade my equipment. I used the iron I'd mined to forge myself a new set of iron tools and some iron armor. And like Napoleon had said earlier, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, so I made myself a cool iron sword too. I'm feeling stronger already! I left my base and crossed the forest until I found myself at the desert biome. Already, this place was way nastier than the other biomes. In my new armor, the heat was killing me. Speaking of killing me, that's also when the gorilla appeared from behind and hit me.
Thought you could forget about your pal the gorilla now, huh? That's a mistake you'll pay dearly for, my friend.
What? How did you sneak up on me like that?
I have my ways. Now it's time for me to take you down. I'm gonna get that bounty.
The gorilla attacked me again, but this time I was stronger. His punches didn't do nearly as much damage against my iron armor. Now it's my turn, Gorillionaire. With a few hits from my iron sword, he was down and I'd won. That's when I saw he dropped a frontiersman cap. This lets the wearer move faster while sneaking. This must have been how he snuck up on me. I equipped the hat myself. This would be super helpful in avoiding that awful bounty hunter. Just then, I started to feel stronger and I gained another heart. 5 hearts? That's more like it. I guess the desert training was worth it. Feeling better than before, I went back to my base and continued working on my escape tunnel. We made some good progress, but I wasn't going to feel much safer until it was complete. On days 16 to 19, I decided it was time to try getting rich by exploring an underground cavern. After all, you can't be MrBeast without getting rich. I bet there are some great precious gemstones down here. I used my iron pickaxe to easily mine through the stone all around me, setting up torches along the way so I could see where I was going. That's when suddenly, an elder skulk crawled toward me out of the darkness.
Bet you never thought you'd see me down here.
No offense, dude, but I don't even know who you are.
I'm the Elder Skulk, and I'm working with the bounty hunter to bring you down.
Jeez, why is everybody working with this meanie? I don't get it.
Money, my boy. It makes the world go round. If you have enough money, you can do anything.
Even pay you guys to leave me alone?
Sure, but you're gonna need a lot of money to beat what all the humans are paying us to come after you. Now let's go.
But I wasn't gonna go down without a fight. As the Elder Skulk came running at me, I dodged his most powerful attack and took out my sword. It only took a few choice swings to take the monster down, but at least he'd given me a new idea. If I can't beat the bounty hunter, maybe I can buy him. On days 20 to 22, I made my way back to the desert for more training. I was also gathering materials for more upgrades to my gear. That's when I got attacked by a swarm of spiders, all trying to bite and sting me. You guys are so rude. Can't you see I'm in the middle of something here? It didn't take long for me to swat those nasty insects with my sword. Then they dropped a protection enchantment along with some string. This will make my armor even stronger. I applied the enchantment and felt my confidence rising too. That's when I remembered something important. Papa Gazelle, I can save him now. As quickly as I could, I ran across the desert and returned to the plains. I saw the same sad display. Poor Papa Gazelle getting chased around by the Wither Boss, who was still firing skulls at him. I've had all I can stand, and I can't stand it anymore. It's time to take this Wither Boss out. I ran in, sword blazing, dodging every flaming skull the Wither Boss blasted at me. With one carefully aimed strike, the Wither Boss was gone. You're free now, Papa Gazelle. Go home, and I'll send your kid back to you. Papa Gazelle ran off. I'd finally gotten strong enough to free him. Maybe I could save myself from the bounty hunter after all.
How sweet. You saved the gazelle, but it won't save you.
I turned and saw the bounty hunter aiming his bow at me. How did you find me?
You weren't exactly being subtle, kid, and you should know by now, I'm the best there is.
He fired an arrow and got me square in the chest. Even with my enchanted armor, he knocked off some of my hearts. I better get out of here before he shoots me again. I ran away, zigzagging to avoid more arrows.
You can run, but you can't hide. No matter where you go, I will hunt you down. You'll never be MrBeast.
On days 23 to 26, I returned to my base, at least happy to have some good news for one of my friends. I found the young gazelle chilling out in the room I'd built for her. Gazelle, I defeated the Wither Boss and saved your dad. He's back at your house waiting for you.
That's amazing, thank you! I can't wait to see him again. I'll never forget this.
With the young gazelle gone back to her family home, it left me with a free room. A room I quickly started turning into an armory. The bounty hunter is a master of weapons, so I need to get just as good if I'm going to beat him. The main thing I needed was a ranged weapon, so I could fight back without getting too close. That's why I made myself a cool new crossbow. But it wasn't just the crossbow I built. I continued working on the escape tunnel. If my calculations were correct, by the time it was done, if the bounty hunter attacked my base, we could all escape all the way to the mountains. On days 27 to 31, I finished my escape tunnel and used it to travel all the way to the mountains. This will be the perfect way to get out of danger if I need to.
Out of danger, you say?
I turned to see that a snow leopard had somehow snuck up on me. I pointed my crossbow at him just to be safe. What are you doing here, snow leopard? Do you work with the bounty hunter?
What? Heavens no! The bounty hunter aligned with the humans, just like the horde of Viking villagers who destroyed my home.
They destroyed your home? That's terrible. Let me help you.
How do I know you don't just side with the other humans?
I'm not just any human, Snow Leopard. I'm MrBeast, the friend to all beasts. Go and stay at my base. You can take the escape tunnel. We'll make a plan to get back to your home later.
Oh, thank you, kind stranger. In exchange for your generosity, I'll tell you the location of a cave with diamonds near here.
The Snow Leopard marked it on my map and left back through the escape tunnel. I continued searching until I discovered the cave. And just like the Snow Leopard told me, there were some diamond deposits for me to mine in there. Jackpot! I'll be as rich as MrBeast in no time. I returned to my base, back through my escape tunnel. With all my new diamonds, I realized how drab my base looked. I crafted and added some banners and bookshelves to give it some ambiance. That's when the Snow Leopard approached me again.
I sense a terrible disturbance. The Vikings who destroyed my home. I believe they've invaded the forest. We need to stop them at once.
On days 32 to 35, Snow Leopard and I left the base and ventured back out into the forest, hoping to hunt down the Viking villagers who had destroyed his home in the mountains.
Look, there they are. I'd recognize them anywhere.
I looked straight ahead and saw what the Snow Leopard had seen. A group of armed Viking villagers surrounding the secret hideout of Napoleon the Pig. He was doing his best to reason with them.
I don't want any trouble, fellas. I swear. I'm just a humble pig. Leave me be.
But they weren't listening. The Viking villagers were about to attack Napoleon. I pulled out my crossbow and started blasting, hoping to distract them. Instead, it all broke out into chaos. Some of the Viking villagers ran towards me. Bird ran forward to meet and fight them. But as much as I tried to fire more crossbow bolts at the Viking villagers running for Napoleon, I was already too late. They destroyed him and burned down his hideout. Napoleon, no! This unlocked the secret rage of me and Snow Leopard. We charged in, him using his claws and teeth, and me pulling out my sword. It didn't take long for us to defeat the remaining Viking villagers.
I'm so sorry about your friend. Perhaps humans and beasts can never live in harmony.
On days 36 to 39, I needed a change of scenery to help me process Napoleon's death. I decided to make my way to the beach, sneaking all the way to make sure that the bounty hunter didn't come after me when I was most vulnerable. That's exactly the kind of mean move he'd go for. But while I was exploring the beach, I found another beast hanging around, a boar. He looked like he needed some help, and because he reminded me of Napoleon, I decided I'd do whatever I needed to. What's up, Mr. Boar? Do you have a problem that a MrBeast could help with?
I was fishing for some magic yellow fish in the nearby ocean, but a small group of aggressive giant lobsters stopped me.
I can take care of them. No problem at all. I found my way to the boar's fishing spot and saw the lobsters skittering around, snipping their big red claws. But they were no match for my crossbow. I pulled it out, and with a few well-placed shots, all the lobsters were gone. It felt good to be able to help someone after I'd had such a bad day. I went back to the boar and told him the good news. In return, he told me something interesting. The bounty hunter had a weakness. His powers were reduced in the dark. Thanks for the tip, Mr. Boar. That'll probably come in real handy. On days 40 to 43, I returned to my base and continued to spruce it up. I installed lanterns down the length of the escape tunnel just to make it easier to use. That's when Donkey approached me with a request.
I heard about some horse friends of mine that escaped from a human stable. Would you mind building some extra rooms for them down here so they have somewhere to be?
Of course, Donkey. That'll be no problem at all. I mined a few extra rooms and widened the entrance to the secret base so we could fit some of Donkey's new horse friends inside. The more the merrier. While the horses filed in, Snow Leopard came into my room and shared some vital information.
My Snow Leopard senses have been speaking to me again. There's an abandoned mine deep in the forest that I visited once. I have a feeling you may find something you're looking for there. Just be warned, it may be looking for you too.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way deep into the forest in the dead of night. I started traveling at night more often since the boar told me the bounty hunter's weakness. Soon enough, I'm gonna be strong enough to beat you, bounty hunter. Eventually, I found the abandoned mine that the Snow Leopard had told me about and crept inside. It was dark and spooky in the abandoned mine, so I used some torches to light the way. However, the second the torches were in place, I heard something coming towards me. Hey, who goes there? I was lucky and dodged in time as an arrow flew towards me and embedded itself in the wall next to me. An arrow that could have only belonged to one person I knew, the bounty hunter.
Hello again. You've fallen right into my trap.
The bounty hunter stepped out of the darkness. I know about the prophecy, bounty hunter. I know why the humans paid you. They know I'm MrBeast, and they hate the beasts, so they want to stay in control of them. The bounty hunter laughed.
They don't hate the beasts. They're jealous of the beasts. They were born with brains, but the beasts were born with natural strength and instincts. What they really want is to harness the beast, produce something with the mind of a human and the strength of a beast.
Such a thing is impossible, bounty hunter.
Impossible? You fool, it's already happened.
Then another thing charged out of the dark towards me. A creature I'd never seen before. A huge villager beast. A fusion of human and beast. And it was ready to fight me.
Good luck, you're gonna need it.
And with that, the bounty hunter disappeared, leaving only me and the villager beast. It was time to fight! On days 50 to 53, the villager beast ran at me, moving faster than I'd ever seen a human move before. I fired at him with the crossbow, hitting him with multiple arrows, but it didn't even seem to hurt or slow him down. The villager beast rammed into me and knocked me back against the wall, almost stunning me. I pulled out my sword and tried to fight back. It was shockingly fast and strong, managing to deflect or simply ignore most of my attacks. In the end, it took all the strength I had to finally defeat this unnatural monster. Jeez, I hope I never have to fight one of those horrible things again. When the villager beast died, it left a book marked research notes on the ground. It seemed to have been written by some kind of evil scientist, probably the one who'd first made this monster.
The tests are going well, but the subject is still far too weak. I need the bounty hunter to capture even stronger creatures if I'm to master the fusion and create the ultimate combination of human and beast. The time will soon come when I have perfected the process, and then nothing will stop us.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. On days 54 to 57, I climbed out of the abandoned mine, shaken by my fight with the villager beast. It seemed that the plans the bounty hunter was involved with were so much worse than I thought. I wanted to go back to my base and warn the others, but when I left the mine, Sven the Viking, one of the strongest Viking warriors of all, was waiting for me, sword at the ready.
Well, you survived. That's impressive. The villager beast is a powerful creature, but my instructions are clear. The bounty hunter told me to destroy you if you survived and escaped, so I guess that's what's gonna happen now. Sorry.
I didn't have the time or patience to listen to Sven's babbling, so I fired at him with my crossbow. Once, twice, 3 times. But somehow, every time, he dodged. Can't we just talk this out, man? I pulled out my sword, and Sven kept attacking me. He was a strong fighter, but I'd beaten the villager beast, so he didn't seem that challenging in comparison. Once he was gone, he dropped an interesting item on the ground. Some Outback leggings, which massively increase your ability to dodge projectiles. So that's how he kept dodging my crossbow bolts. I better take these for myself. They'll probably come in handy for the next time I face the bounty hunter. After I equipped the Outback leggings, I made my way back to the base. I met with the snow leopard again, told him about all the crazy things that had happened, and showed him the book that I collected from the villager beast.
This is troubling. These writings, they seem to be the work of the plague doctor, a mad scientist who had theories about fusing humans and beasts to create the ultimate creatures. I thought he was gone, but he seemingly returned. This means all of us are in danger. It's worse than I possibly could have thought.
On days 58 to 62, after receiving the disturbing news from Snow Leopard about the plague doctor, I decided to work on improving and upgrading the base, however I could. First came the escape tunnel. I built a track along the floor of the cave so a minecart could be installed. This would make it a lot easier and faster to get from one end to another. I think I'll give it a spin right now. Woohoo! I took the minecart down to the other end of the escape tunnel and ventured out into the mountain biome again. I explored the diamond cave that Snow Leopard had shown me and mined even more diamonds. I used the escape tunnel and the minecart once again to take these back to my base, where I built my first pieces of diamond gear, a diamond chest plate, and an awesome diamond sword. I ended the 4 days by building additional levels and rooms to my underground base, in case we needed to help more beasts hide from the bounty hunter and the evil plague doctor. There's only one way out of this, and it's with all of us working together. On day 63 to day 66, Donkey came up to me with a clever idea.
Humans have been known to use boats to travel along the river in groups. Maybe if you follow the river along, you might be able to find one of their settlements, or even find your way to the bounty hunter's new lair.
Good idea, Donkey! I'll wait until nightfall, then the bounty hunter will never see me coming. So that's exactly what happened. I waited until nightfall, then I made my way out through the forest until I found the river. Then I just followed the river along. Suddenly, I got a spooky feeling, like something was waiting nearby, and turned to see a night apparition floating right behind me. I immediately pointed my crossbow at him, not wanting to take any chances.
Wait, I'm friendly. I just need your help.
Oh really? What's going on? I'm sorry for pointing my crossbow at you, by the way. I've had kind of a rough month.
It's okay, I understand. We're all a little jumpy with the bounty hunter's men hanging around.
Wait, the bounty hunter's men? Do you know where I can find them?
Of course. They chased me out of my home in a cave nearby. I think they were looking for precious gemstones.
Then let's go fight them. I need some answers before it's too late.
Count me in.
So we ran to the nearest cave, ready for battle. On day 67 to 70, the night apparition and I ran into the cave he'd once called his home. The henchmen of the bounty hunter, 3 gold warriors, were already inside, mining at the walls with iron pickaxes. What are you goofballs doing? The 3 gold warriors suddenly turned to me and the night apparition and pulled out iron swords.
We're under strict orders from the bounty hunter to mine as many diamonds as possible. If you interfere, we will destroy you.
Why does the bounty hunter need so many diamonds? Is he really just that greedy?
No, he and his employer want all of their soldiers to have diamond swords. We'll all be stronger that way.
Oh, diamond swords like this? I pulled out my diamond sword and charged in. The gold warriors didn't hesitate to fight back. They were strong and well trained. But thankfully, I wasn't alone in this fight. The night apparition floated around the cave, distracting the gold warriors long enough for me to get the edge. Soon enough, I defeated all 3 with my trusty diamond blade. Thanks for the assist, night apparition.
Thank you for getting my home back. Feel free to take any of the diamonds those guys left behind.
Don't mind if I do. I mined the remaining diamonds and prepared to leave when the night apparition said one more thing to me.
I heard the Golden Warriors murmur something about coming from the Badlands when they first chased me out. I figured that might be useful information for you.
On days 71 to 74, I began following up on the lead that the night apparition had given me. If what the Gold Warriors said was true, I might have been able to find something I wanted there. And if what you want is more crazy Minecraft adventures like this one, search for more Zozo videos by searching ZOZO. By the time I arrived at the Badlands, the only structure I could see was a busted down looking camp. But that wasn't all. The bounty hunter was waiting for me.
I'm impressed. You shouldn't have survived.
I just started firing arrows at him from my crossbow, not even letting him finish his sentence. He somehow managed to dodge every single one.
Nice shots. Now it's my turn.
He pulled out his bow and fired a few arrows at me. But now, I had the Outback leggings on my side. With speed that impressed even him, I managed to dodge all of his arrows too. That all you got, bounty hunter? You're dealing with beast mode, MrBeast here. I pulled out my sword and ran at him. He just stood there, not even trying to dodge. But when I got close, he pulled out his close-ranged weapon, a battle axe. With one strike, he sent me skidding back across the Badlands, getting me down to half a heart.
Guess you're not as strong as you think you are. 25 days left. You're gonna be mine before the time runs out.
Injured and surprised, I did the only thing I could, run off. I'd finish this another day. On day 75 to 78, I returned across the forest to my base. I built myself an extra room just for sitting around and relaxing, because after everything I'd experienced, I really needed to take a load off. That's when the snow leopard approached me, carrying a book.
As you may have noticed, I sometimes dabble in a little bit of magic. I'm able to sense things other people can't.
It's true, that is something I've noticed about you.
Well, I've taken my skills in magic and used it to create this book. If you read it, you will finally unlock your true potential, and it will help you on your next steps to becoming the hero you were always meant to be.
Wow, thank you, Snow Leopard. I'm honored. I took up the book and finally read it. I felt the change immediately, getting bigger, stronger, and getting an impressive 10 hearts. But more than that, I took a look into my inventory and found that it was stuffed with money. Snow Leopard, you did it! I'm finally MrBeast! On day 79 to 84, I went out to the desert to test out my new MrBeast powers. I soon encountered one of the most dangerous creatures in the desert, the sand and wind spirit known as the Guster. These things really packed a punch, but thankfully, so did I. I ran in with my diamond sword, feeling no fear, and destroyed the Guster in a single strike. Whoa, I really am strong now. My strength caught the attention of a nearby roadrunner who wanted to see if I was as fast as I was strong. He challenged me to a few races. You're on, roadrunner! We ran up and down a stretch of the desert together. I was faster than I expected, but he was way faster than that. It seemed that no matter how fast I went, the roadrunner was always just a little bit faster. But he still thought I gave him a good race, so when the race was over, he gave me a potion as a gift. A speed potion. Thanks, roadrunner. Now I can run twice as fast. On days 85 to 89, I put my new speed to good use, running all the way back to my base, only to find that its secret entrance had been discovered, and it was being attacked by a group of villager beasts, just like the one that had attacked me in the abandoned mine. You guys aren't meant to be here. Wait, what about my friends? Thankfully, my hard work earlier had paid off. They'd all escaped through the minecart escape tunnel before the villager beasts could get to them. But those monsters were still destroying my base. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran to fight them. With my new strength and skill, the first one I attacked only took a few hits to defeat, and the rest started running. I'm not letting you guys get away this time. I started chasing them into the forest, but I was interrupted when a tiny rabbit asked for my help, finding his lost carrot. Okay, I'll help you find the carrot. Just know this really isn't a good time. While the villager beast ran away, I searched around until I found the rabbit's carrot behind a tree. I grabbed it and gave it back to him before continuing to chase the villager beasts into the distance. I was once again extremely thankful for my roadrunner speed. On days 90 to 94, the chase continued until I passed from the forest into the jungle. It was so hot and humid in there, I couldn't help but slow down a little. But this turned out to be exactly what the bad guys had planned. The villager beasts had just been there to lure me to the plague doctor's most dangerous creation yet, the mutant zombie. Oh no, that thing is huge! I pulled out my crossbow and started blasting it as it ran towards me, but it still had no effect. All I could do was pull out my diamond sword and face it one-on-one. Time for an epic battle of mutant versus beast! On days 95 to 97, the mutant zombie charged me like a raging bull. I was able to dodge it just in time and stab it in the side with my diamond sword, but it barely seemed to faze it. Already, the mutant zombie turned and started attacking me again. Each one of its punches damaged me until I was low on hearts. I needed to do something, quickly. Hey, mutant zombie, how would you like some cold, hard cash? In true MrBeast style, I threw some of my vast collection of money onto the ground. The mutant zombie was immediately distracted and ran towards the cash. I guess the Elder Skulk was right. Money really does make the world go around sometimes. While he was distracted, I took advantage of my roadrunner speed and struck the mutant zombie again and again with all of my might, until finally it fell and was defeated. The mutant zombie only dropped one thing, a map, with exact directions to the plague doctor's laboratory, where I'd find him and the bounty hunter. 3 days left. It's time to end this. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to make the final preparations for my assault on the plague doctor's lab. As I prepared, my friends from around the base came to offer me some help or words of encouragement. First came the horses.
Thanks for giving us a place to stay. You're a real beast.
Next came the snow leopard.
You can do this. The prophecy has all been true up to this point. You will defeat the bounty hunter, destroy the plague doctor, and liberate the beasts.
And finally, my oldest friend, the donkey.
I made you something special to bring with you. Firework bolts. These will really make your crossbow pack a punch.
With everything said and done, it was time to make my way to the laboratory and save the day. On day 99, I crossed the forest, following the directions on the map left by the mutant zombie. On the way there, I passed a turtle, minding his own business in the forest.
Good luck. I believe in ya.
Thanks, turtle. I'm sure it'll be turtly fine in the end.
Okay, don't push it.
I kept walking, remaining stealthy, until I saw the plague doctor's laboratory in the distance. But this wouldn't be as easy as I thought. The building was surrounded by villager beasts. I loaded up one of my new firework rounds into my crossbow and prepared to fire. But if I missed my shot, would it lead the other one straight to me? I might have miscalculated here. That's when an unexpected old friend turned up. It was the young gazelle, who I'd saved months ago. She ran past the front of the laboratory, catching the attention of the villager beasts. They started chasing her, running away from the entrance of the laboratory. Finally, my chance! Using my roadrunner speed, I ran straight for the door. On day 100, I entered the laboratory, crossbow loaded and ready to fire. The laboratory was eerie. It was filled with cells containing more villager beasts, who must have been the failed experiments of the plague doctor.
Do you like what you see, young man?
I turned and saw the plague doctor, and of course, the bounty hunter waiting for me.
All these wonderful creations, but they're flawed, aren't they? But you can't make a delicious meal without the best quality ingredients. And for perfect human-beast hybrid, I need the ideal subject. Once my bounty hunter has defeated you, you will be that subject. It's why I put that bounty on you in the first place.
Day 100. You made it all the way. I hope that eases the pain of being defeated.
Not a chance, bounty hunter. I'm not just some pesky human. I'm MrBeast. The bounty hunter pulled out his bow and prepared to shoot, but I was quicker than he was. I fired a firework bolt at him, but I didn't wait up. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran at him, ready to land a lethal blow.
Bounty hunter, destroy!
The bounty hunter immediately pulled out his battle axe and parried the blow from my diamond sword. He was a formidable opponent.
You've gotten strong. I'm impressed.
We clashed weapons while the plague doctor watched. I needed to keep absolute focus in order to dodge or block every attack he threw at me. I was just waiting for a window. At the perfect moment, I pulled out my crossbow and fired one of the firework bolts at close range, right into the bounty hunter's chest. He was finally defeated.
You've won. Well done. Now finish me off.
What? No, I'm not gonna finish you off. I'm going to hire you. Just like MrBeast, I laid out stacks of money in front of him, even more than the bounty that the plague doctor had put on me.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What would you like for me to do, boss?
I want you to destroy this entire lab, take the plague doctor to jail, and retire.
I'll make it happen, boss.
What? You can't do that! No! No!
And with the bounty hunter now doing my job for me, I decided to do the most sensible thing, go back to my base and hang out with my friends. On day 1, I spawned in as SHREK. I'm a powerful ogre. No wait, I'm a tiny baby ogre. Nice. Just then, I heard a plop and saw a slime was headed right at me. That's when I noticed I only had a few hearts. I've got to get out of here. I took off running. I was in no state to be fighting anything. Just when I thought I had gotten away, I noticed I had almost run into an entire group of slimes. Whoa, wrong way. I quickly turned and ran off in another direction. This swamp is a dangerous place. Luckily for me, I soon saw a cave and jumped inside. Whew, I think I lost them. I better lay low for the night. I looked around the cave and saw there were a few mushrooms. I picked a few of them and scarfed them down. Where is my family? I'll have to look for them tomorrow. I plopped down in the dirt and went to sleep. On day 2, I woke up and headed out of my cave. There's just got to be more people like me out there. I took another bite of mushrooms. Ugh, these mushrooms aren't very good. Ogres like me are going to need something better to eat than that. I'll have to figure that out later though. I started exploring the swamp when I came across a frog sitting on a lily pad. Hey you, excuse me, but have you seen any other ogres around?
I have, but they aren't here anymore. I'm not sure what direction they went though.
Well, at least I know there's some around here for sure. In the meantime, I decided I needed to start getting some tools together, so I started punching trees to collect some wood. With my freshly gathered wood, I then made myself a wooden sword. Then I made myself a wooden pickaxe. I took off into the swamp again, and soon saw a huge tree trunk sitting in a clearing. Whoa, this must have been a huge tree. I think this could make for a perfect place to live. I dug into the side of it and found that it was hollow. I got right to work and started turning the inside into a home. I only had some basic materials, so I wasn't able to do anything super fancy, but it was going to work great for a starter base. Soon, the hut was complete. This will be much better than sleeping in a cave. On day 3, I stepped out of my hut and set off to look for the ogres the frog had seen. To my surprise, I soon stumbled across an entire village of ogres. I can't believe it! I found my ogre family! I walked up to one of them. Hi, you must be my dad.
Your dad? Do I look like a man to you? I'm your mom, silly.
Whoops, that's what I meant. What are you guys doing hiding so deep in the swamp?
You haven't heard? All the king's horses and all the king's men are out here capturing us. The king hates ogres.
Oh no, why would he do such a thing? What happens to the ogres he captures?
He takes them and forces them to live in his dungeon. We don't really know what happens after that.
We talked a while longer, then my mom decided to show me around the village. It was so nice to finally have a family. But suddenly, the village was attacked by a bunch of knights.
Zozo, run! We'll try to hold them off.
I ran and hid while the knights in my ogre family started to fight. They did their best to fight them all off, but it wasn't enough. They took my parents captive and destroyed anyone else who fought back. No, how could they? From my hiding place, I could hear one of my ogre brothers were stuck. Just then, a door opened turned and I heard a knight run up to him. A block broke as they dropped him through the floor. Am I next? That's when I started to hear explosions as the knight started placing TNT around the village and setting things on fire. Suddenly, I heard some TNT light right by me and an explosion sent me flying. A while later, I emerged from the swamp I had fallen into and saw the village was in ruins, but deserted. Except for a swamp pig, that is.
Oi, ogre! Was it another attack by the king's men?
Yeah, it was. I think I'm the only one left. They took my entire family.
I'm sorry. This keeps happening to ogre families all over the swamp. Someone needs to do something about it.
I agree, but I'm just a baby. Who could possibly fight off a king and his army? I have a hut not too far from here, though. Do you want to stay with me? It might be safer if we stick together.
Safer? Did you see what happened here? The safest place for me is far away from ogres. Sorry, you seem like a nice guy, but I don't think it'll be safe for me.
I understood and left to go back to my hut. I wasn't strong enough to fight an entire army, but the least I could do is make some simple tools to defend myself. I had found a deposit of cobblestone, so I got to work mining out as much of it as I could. Back at my hut, I got right to work, crafting myself a stone pickaxe, sword, shovel, hoe, and axe. Now, let's make some improvements around here. It was time to truly make this hut a home. Using the materials I had gathered, I began fixing up the room and giving myself a few more comforts. I might be here for a long time, so I made everything as nice as I could, given the circumstances. I even made myself a chimney. I definitely didn't want my house to be full of smoke. I also needed to have a food supply, which looked like it was going to be mushrooms for now. I had found a nice damp cave under my base, so I planted some mushrooms there. That night, I was outside of my base when suddenly a bunch of skeletons attacked. Get back, you fleshless creeps! It was a good thing I had made myself a sword because I might not have been able to fight these guys off. I still wasn't very big, but I was still a tough ogre. Soon, all of the skeletons were defeated. Just then, I felt a surge of power and I grew a little bit in size. And check it out, I even gained more hearts. I was feeling good, but it had been a long day, so I headed back into the hut to rest. On days 4 to 5, I went digging in the mine for some coal. It was bad enough having knights attacking ogres, let alone mobs. Once I had collected enough coal, I made myself some torches, then headed outside to set them up. There we go, that should fix my mob problem. Later that night, I was sitting at my table when I heard a noise outside. More skeletons? What's going on here? I fought them off, but realized they must be spawning from somewhere else and walking over. In the distance, I could see more mobs, so I ran toward them, fighting them off one by one. Where are you guys all coming from? I kept following them through the swamp, taking them out as I went. Eventually, I saw a stone structure with a long stairway leading down under the swamp. Uh-oh, this looks like a huge grave. I don't want to go down there, but I've got to clear these guys out. I headed down the stairs, fighting off zombies. When I got to the bottom, there was a huge group of them. Ah, get away, you brain suckers! There were a lot of them, but they weren't very smart. I got them to all get in a line and started to quickly knock them out, one by one. Eventually, I managed to take the last one out. Phew, I'm glad I got rid of them, but where are they coming from? That's when I had a scary realization. What's inside of the tomb? I nervously cleared the top of the grave and saw there was a spawner inside. Oh, that's the issue. I quickly knocked it out. No more zombie problems for me. Just then, I realized I was really hungry, but I was still a long way away from my base. What was I going to do? I did pick up a bunch of rotten flesh from these guys. I guess it's my only option. I ate a bunch of it and started to feel funny, although it wasn't a bad funny, just a funny. Suddenly, I let out a big burp, releasing a bunch of toxic gas. I let out a little fart too. I hadn't even noticed a zombie had snuck up behind me, but the gas attack made him run away. Oh, nice! I think I just discovered a powerful ability. I ran back out of the grave. As I came to the top, I saw a donkey come wandering out of the trees.
Oh my word, it's an ogre! Run!
Whoa, hang on a second! The donkey took off running into the trees. He was running so fast, he ran straight into some mud and started sinking.
Oh no, it's the end for me! It's over! I can already see the light!
I ran over closer to him. Here, catch this! I threw a rope out to him, which he grabbed onto. Using that, I managed to pull him out of the mud.
Oh my word, you saved me! You're my hero!
What are you doing all the way out here in my swamp?
Well, I was out here with my family, but they fell into mud, just like this. There weren't any ogres around to save them, though.
Oh no, that's horrible. The swamp can be a dangerous place. Why don't you come stay at my hut? It's not far.
Oh, you mean it? That would make my year right there.
We started heading back to the hut. By the way, what's your name?
Donkey, just like my father before me. You may be surprised to know it's actually a pretty common name.
We soon arrived back at the hut, which was surrounded by slimes.
Hang on, I'll take them out.
Donkey charged in without warning. He was a feisty little guy, but got hurt almost right away. I had to jump in too. Luckily, slimes weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. Working together, we managed to clear them all out after a bit of work. That leg doesn't look too good. Come on, you can stay inside. Donkey ran inside and immediately jumped on my bed.
This is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Okay, I guess you can sleep in my bed. I walked over to the armchair and settled in for the night. On day 6 through 8, I started the day by working on a house for Donkey. He was a really nice guy, but I wanted my bed back. I was pretty sure he'd be over the moon when he saw it. Right as I finished, he came running over to me. He was super excited about the new house, but also about what he had found. Just behind the base was a bunch of iron. Nice work, Donkey. I'll go check it out. We ran over to where he had pointed, and sure enough, there was a ton of iron there. I got my pickaxe out and got right to work, mining it all up. With my pockets full of iron, I headed back to the base and filled the furnaces up with iron. While it smelted, I headed back outside to do some more work. I got down in the dirt and carved out a nice path between Donkey's house and my own. I felt like it looked really great. Now let's go check on that iron. The iron had finished smelting, so I used it to make an iron shovel, pickaxe, axe, hoe, and sword. I also had enough to make an iron helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boots. I decided to make Donkey some armor too, just in case he went recklessly charging into battle again. I went outside to meet him. Hey Donkey, I made both of us some iron armor. This should help keep us safe in case we get attacked again.
Nice one, but what are we waiting around for? We've got armor. Let's go defeat the king and save your family.
Donkey, you've got to stop being so reckless. If we just charge into things, we're going to get ourselves hurt. Just then, a giant warped toad came hopping up behind us. Right on cue, Donkey went rushing in and attacked. We're gonna have to work on that. I rushed in as well and we started to fight off the toad. He wasn't super strong, but he sure was big. Together with our new gear though, Donkey and I managed to take him out.
See, we make a great team. We can take the king on.
But don't you see how dangerous that was? We can't just rush into things. We'll need to prepare ourselves if we're going to be taking on an army. Donkey understood, but mentioned he was getting hungry. I tossed over a bunch of mushrooms, which he tossed right back.
Ugh, mushrooms are nasty. Here, I have some carrots from a farm I used to work on. How about we start our own farm with these?
I thought that was a great idea, so I picked them all up and got right to work tilling the ground. Once the farm was ready, I planted all of the carrots. There we go, now Donkey can have a feast. On days 9 to 10, I started my day adding some upgrades to the base, including an outhouse. I had been eating a lot of rotten flesh, so it was better to be safe than sorry. I also had this strange dream where I had met a talking gingerbread man, so I thought it'd be fun to make a giant statue of him. I had started to make the first part out of mud, but once I finished, it didn't look quite right, so I went to have a chat with Donkey. Donkey, you said you used to work at a farm near here, right? Was there wool there?
Oh yeah, tons of wool. Enough wool you can make yourself a million winter coats. But don't you know it's hot out here? Why are you making so many coats?
No, not for coats, for a statue.
Oh, well why didn't you say so?
Donkey told me where to go, but warned me that the farmer there isn't very nice, so I'd have to be careful. Later on, I could see the farm in the distance. As I got closer, I snuck up to the farm, but didn't see the farmer anywhere. Psst, hey, do you mind if I grab some of your wool?
You can have as much wool as you want if you can bust us out of here. This farmer is a jerk.
Yeah, sure, I can help you out. Where is that farmer anyway?
What, you didn't see him? You walked right by him.
As I turned to look around, a stick broke beneath my feet and a tiny angry goblin came charging at me. He was making a crazy sound too. Oh, what the heck? Where did you come from? This little farmer goblin was nuts. I tried to talk sense to him, but he just kept making his crazy sounds while he tried to hit me. I took a bite of rotten flesh and could feel myself gassing up. I started letting the burps fly and eventually managed to take him out. Before I went to let the sheep out, I took a look around the farm. Inside of the barn, I found some shears as well as some cocoa beans. This is perfect. Now I can dye the wool brown. From there, I rounded up all of the sheep and headed back toward the base. We took a boat to get across the swamp, and I got right to work building them a new pen. Once their pen was finished, I dyed some of them brown and used the shears to collect the wool. I also took a moment to plant some of the cocoa beans so I could make some cookies later. Oh, and I almost forgot. Using some of the wool, I made an extra bed. There was no way I was going to let Donkey sleep in my bed again. I went and put his new bed in his house, which he was really excited about. On days 11 to 12, I was having a crazy dream. In my dream, I was running through a dungeon and could see my family locked behind bars. I tried to open the door to free them, but it wouldn't budge. Suddenly, I was in a tower that had a long flight of stairs. As I got to the top of the stairs, I saw a fancy door, but it wouldn't open. Nearby, I saw the key. Using the key, I was able to open the door. Inside was the most beautiful ogre I had ever seen in my entire life. She told me that the king was keeping all of the ogres captive, and she needed my help. Suddenly, there was a figure in the doorway. It was the king's henchman. I woke up in a cold sweat. That dream felt too real. It couldn't possibly be real, could it? On days 13 to 15, I ran over to Donkey to have a chat with him about my dream. He had a lot to say about it.
A beautiful ogre? What do you mean a beautiful ogre? Can you smell yourself right now? You're telling me there's a beautiful you out there?
I get it. But come on, you've been to the castle before, right? Surely you must have seen something.
Well, I've been to the farms and the dungeons. Sounds like you definitely saw the dungeons. Never been in the castle though, so I can't say if there's a beautiful ogre inside or not.
Well, what about the henchman? Have you seen someone like that before?
Oh, the henchman. Talk about a real creepy creep. That guy never says a word.
I don't know, you're making him sound kind of nice.
That guy will just stare at you, and they say he's never lost a fight. If you think you're gonna go beat him up, you better think again.
Well, maybe we won't go get in a fight, but I think we need to go and just see what's going on there. If my family is really there, I've got to help rescue them. Since I was still pretty small, Donkey let me ride on his back. He kept chatting my ear off until we came to a bridge. It's so foggy here. Let's cross this by foot. Donkey and I started crossing the bridge when we soon came across a troll.
Answer my question on the first try, or get it wrong and prepare to die.
A question? Sure, go ahead.
What is your name?
My name? It's Zozo.
What? But you're the green ogre from that movie. That's
That's not your name.
Donkey, what is he talking about?
Don't look at me. I have no idea. Oh, whatever. On guard.
The troll attacked us. We couldn't waste any more time with this guy. Did he really think I didn't know my own name? Donkey managed to get him lined up against the railing and headbutted him over the edge.
I'll be back!
I guess he thinks he'll survive the fall. Come on, Donkey, let's go. Donkey and I continued across the bridge, coming across the other side. On day 16 to 19, we were continuing toward the castle when we saw a village in the distance. Greetings, humans! The villagers immediately started to scream and run away. Donkey did say it smelled bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. Since everyone had run away, I figured I may as well help myself to some of their crops. I managed to get myself plenty of wheat and a nice stack of seeds. Well, at least now I can start a wheat farm of my own. As I went to grab some more crops, there was a noise in the trees and a huge wildkin came out of the forest. Whoa, no wonder those humans were all running away. They must have been scared of you. Donkey, stay back! I tried to fight him, but he was too strong. I started running away when suddenly a tiny cat came out of nowhere, taking out the wildkin. Whoa, you're super strong. We could use someone like you on our team.
I am flattered, senor, but please, I have my own mission to complete.
It's okay, I understand. We'll see you around then.
You will not see me, but I may see you.
Okay. On days 20 to 22, Donkey and I could see the castle in the distance. As we got closer, we saw that there was a village on the edge that was completely falling apart. What happened to this village? Why is it so run down this close to the castle? Donkey had no idea either. We decided to wait in the village for nighttime, then we'd go take a look around. Once night had come, we snuck up to the castle walls and used some blocks to stack up and look over the top. What I saw shocked me. Oh no, the ogres! The king's knights had gathered even more ogres, and look who was inspecting them. The henchman from my dream. He's real. I wonder if that means everything else is real too. Just then, I noticed someone looking out from the castle balcony. It was the girl from my dream. Wow, she's even more beautiful in real life. Just then, I heard a shout behind me. A guard had found me and was calling for backup. I had no choice but to fight him off. We exchanged blows, but I managed to knock him out pretty easily. Just then, there was a huge surge of energy and I grew to be even bigger than before. I felt stronger than before too. I looked up at the girl on the balcony and could see she had noticed me. I had no time to say anything though, as I was suddenly surrounded by more knights. I had to get out of there. Here's something for ya. I let out a little fart and jumped off the wall into a pond. Some guards were trying to capture Donkey, so I hurried to help him out. I was too big to ride him now though. We were going to have to run. Donkey, it's the henchman. Come on, let's get out of here. We ran off into the forest, losing them in the trees. Before we got too far away though, I hopped up a tree to get one more look at the princess. That's when a tiny child prince, no wait, it was a man. A tiny man grabbed her and pulled her inside. That must have been the king. He's trying to hide her away, just like my family. I'll be back for all of them. On days 23 to 26, Donkey and I arrived back at the base. I went to go look at the sheep and saw they had made a nice stack of wool for me. Turns out, they had been shearing themselves. Wow, these guys are even smarter than I thought.
Yeah, we heard that.
Then I went over to take a look at my cocoa beans and saw they had grown in. I'll be able to make even more brown dye now. Since I had gathered a bunch of seeds from the village, I also got right to work setting up a wheat farm. Rotten flesh gave me a superpower, but I couldn't just eat that all the time. Not to mention, I'm gonna be able to make cookies. Who doesn't want that? Next up, I got to work expanding the base. If I was going to rescue the princess and have her come back to live here, she needed to be impressed. I decided that I would make my base feel more like a castle, so she would feel just as fancy. With the improvements finished, it was finally time to get back to work on that statue. With my new brown wool, I was able to start building the statue the way I was imagining it. I thought it was looking a lot better. By the way, we're going to need all the help we can get in order to save the princess, so click the subscribe button or we'll never win. On days 27 to 31, I headed out of my base to go look for more supplies. As I explored, I realized the swamp had changed. I was in a mangrove swamp. This place was definitely much more spooky than the swamp I called home. But why are there so many bats? I was so distracted by the bats, I almost didn't see the zombies and skeletons who attacked me. Uh-oh, don't get too close to me, get away! I got some hits in, but there were too many of them. Their arrows were really starting to hurt too. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, even more zombies and skeletons jumped into the fight. I think this might be the end for me. When all hope seemed lost, another ogre suddenly came running over. He was really strong too, knocking mobs out left and right. Whoa, where did you come from? This ogre even used a burp ability, but it was way more powerful than mine. He also had an explosive fart attack that was really clearing the place out. Together, we fought off the rest of the mobs and finally had a chance to chat. Thank you for saving me. I thought it was the end for me.
You're strong, but you could be stronger. Come with me.
The ogre led me deeper into the swamp, and we eventually came across a small hut. I like your house, but what are you doing out here all alone?
I used to live with my family, but the king's men came and captured them. I was much weaker then, so all I could do is run away. I've been out here training and honing my abilities, so that one day I could save them.
Well, you seem pretty strong to me. Why haven't you tried to save them yet?
The truth is, I'm too scared. undead. Saving you is the first time I've really tried using my full abilities in a full fight. It works, but I don't know.
Well, maybe if we fight together? Although I'm not nearly as strong as you are.
Well, that's not a problem. I can teach you everything I know.
That would be amazing! On days 32 to 35, my training began. My new friend, whose name was GRINCH, had me doing all kinds of crazy exercises. First off, I had to run around a track, which he said would help build up my endurance. After a few laps, we headed over to the bag to get some punches in.
Smack that bag like you mean it. What are you, a pixie?
After that was the scariest one, walking the beam over a pool of lava. GRINCH seemed to really enjoy watching me do that one. Next was parkour.
Jump, Zozo, jump. Deliver the unexpected. No one is ready for leaping yoga.
Next was swordplay with the dummies, but more than that, I was learning to fight multiple bad guys at once. After that, I ran over to the rope climb and made my way to the top. Done! That wasn't so bad.
Yes, good for you. Now do it again.
After many hours of training, GRINCH pulled me aside to chat.
Okay, let's see that burp power of yours. What are you using to power it?
I ate some rotten flesh and let out a burp.
That's really not bad. But to truly complete your training, you must defeat the King Slime.
GRINCH told me where I needed to go, and I set off for my next challenge. After a while, I could see the King Slime hopping atop a hill, wearing his crown. Bring it on, Slime Ball! I jumped into battle, swinging my sword. I had fought slime before, but this guy was definitely stronger than any of the other ones. His jello punches were certainly powerful. If I can just remember my training, I can defeat him. I thought about the jumping, the balance, the strengthening. All of it had built me for this moment. I swung my sword for a final time, destroying the Slime King. Got him! I noticed that he had dropped something. Suspicious stew. Oh, gross. This is probably made of slime. At least I don't have to eat it. I took off to go tell GRINCH that my training was complete. On days 36 to 39, I had arrived back at GRINCH's house. Well, I've done it. I defeated the Slime King.
Very nicely done, but your training is not complete.
What do you mean? I thought I just had to beat the Slime King.
There's still one more thing to be done. That suspicious stew? Eat it.
Oh man, you can't be serious. I took out the stew and drank it down. My stomach started to rumble. This didn't feel right. Suddenly, I let out a huge fart, blowing a hole in the wall. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
But now you can mean to do that. Your fart ability is now yours to control.
We got right to work fixing up his shack. I was really excited about my new power. Once the shack was fixed, I invited GRINCH to come live at my base with me.
Thanks for the offer, but I think I'll stay out here and continue my training. But here, take these enchantments. They will help you be faster in water and do more damage to the undead.
I stepped over to GRINCH's anvil and added the enchantments to my sword. I was already feeling better about my chances. I soon left GRINCH's house and started journeying back to my base. Along the way, I ran into some more zombies and skeletons like before, but this time, I was all powered up. With my new fart power locked and loaded, I managed to blow them out of my way while I hit them with my sword. Amazing that only a few days ago this would have ended me, and now I could fight them off with ease. On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at my base, but it was under attack. As I got closer, I could see a Zautar was attacking. Hang on, Donkey, I'm coming to help. Donkey had been doing his best to defend the sheep, but I could tell he was losing. It's a good thing I had gotten there when I did. The Zautar was really tough. Let's see how you like the smell of this. I unleashed my new fart bombs, which he really didn't like. To be fair, no one else around seemed to really like it either, apart from the fact it was only hurting the bad guy. At long last, I was able to land the final blow and destroy the Zautar for good. That's when I saw he dropped an enchanted book. Oh look, it's an efficiency enchantment. I could use this to mine more material faster. Donkey heard what I said and came over to chat.
I saw some funny looking blue rocks in a cave nearby. That mean anything to you?
Sounds like diamonds. I headed over to the cave Donkey had found, and sure enough, it had several diamond blocks. I hopped on down and managed to quickly mine out a bunch of them. These will be great for upgrading our gear. Back at the base, I went over to the crafting table and used my newly gathered diamonds. I was able to make Donkey a new set of armor. Then I used what was left to make myself a new set of tools, including a sword. I'll have to find more later to make armor, but this will work great for now. On days 44 to 49, I wanted to improve the base to look even more like a castle, so I headed out to find some more materials. As I was exploring the swamp, I came across some old ruins. It had the perfect blocks I needed to improve the base. Problem was, it was full of banshees. Oh, you guys are so creepy. The banshee was really scary, but I had a base that needed to look cool, so how could I let a creepy monster like that keep me out? I kept mining out as much material as I could while fighting banshees off along the way. And look at these chests. They have lots of emeralds inside. I'll have to find something good to do with these. Soon enough, I had gathered all of the material I needed and got out of there. On days 50 to 53, I returned to my base and started using the materials I had gathered. I never thought I would be someone who lived in a castle, but the look was really starting to grow on me. Once I had finished with my improvements for the day, I did a little bit more work on the statue. The sheep had given me a fresh stack of wool, so it was the right time to get going on the next part of the build. As I was building, I thought about how funny it would be to meet a talking gingerbread man. That would just be crazy. As I was finishing up the statue, I heard a croak nearby and saw a group of frogs.
Hey, we've been watching you and seeing what you're building out here.
It's mad impressive. Thanks, guys. Glad you think so. We do. We were also hoping we could live here, too. We've just been thinking, if the king is capturing green things like you, what's gonna stop him from capturing green things like us? We'd feel much safer living here. It's hard to argue with that logic. Let me get you guys set up. With the frogs ready to move in, I had to hurry and build them their own place. It wasn't anything super fancy, but I'm pretty sure it was fancy enough for a frog. Soon, it was complete, and the frogs were able to all move in. On days 54 to 57, I went to go see Donkey, but he was gone. I looked around and saw a note had been left behind. Looks like he decided to go find me some diamonds. Very recklessly, I must add. I better go find him. He could easily get into trouble. The frogs were awake, so I went over to them to ask if they had seen where Donkey had gone. They said they had seen him wandering off and pointed me in the direction I needed to go. I wandered off really far from the base, but still couldn't find him. Just then, I could hear him crying out in the distance. I ran toward the noise, but stopped before I got too close. Donkey was under attack by a group of knights, led by the henchmen. I watched from a distance as they demanded to know where my base was. Lucky for me, and for the first time in his life, Donkey didn't say a word. They started taking him away. Hang on, buddy, I'm coming to rescue you. But before I could charge in, a Zoutar started attacking the group of knights. The henchman quickly swung his sword and defeated it in no time. Oh man, he beat them so fast. There's no way I could take him on now. Best thing I can do is follow them. As I followed the band of knights, we soon arrived in a savannah where I could see they were taking Donkey into a fortress. This must be the henchman's personal base. I'll have to get geared up and come back. Stay strong, Donkey. On days 58 to 62, I made my way to Grek's hut out in the swamp. I was going to have to get a lot stronger if I was going to save Donkey. I soon arrived and met up with Grek. I have bad news. Donkey has been captured by the henchmen. I need to get stronger so I can rescue him.
Well, the henchmen, you say? I may have something that can help with that.
He explained that he had been working on special ogre armor, but needed some specific materials to finish crafting it. But in order to get it, I had to travel to the Mushroom Islands. Blah, more mushrooms? I thought I had left those behind for good. But for Donkey, I'll do it. I traveled back out into the world and eventually made it to the Mushroom Islands. As I walked along, I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of mungai. Eating mushrooms was bad enough. Now I have to fight them too? These guys were a crazy little bunch, and I was getting sick of them trying to hurt me. I wasn't strong enough to fight the henchmen, but I was more than strong enough to knock these guys out of the way. Just then, I saw something terrible. Is that a giant mungus? The monster was throwing mushrooms at me too. It felt like this entire place was made just to taunt me for my dislike for mushrooms. I managed to get cover behind some giant mushrooms and jumped out to strike. The strategy worked well, and eventually I landed the final blow. That's enough living mushrooms for me. I saw the giant mungus had dropped a deathcap mushroom. This must be what Grek was after. Just then, I felt my strength begin to grow, and I grew into a full-sized ogre. And look how many hearts I have now. On days 63 to 66, I had left the Mushroom Islands and returned to Grek's house.
Zozo, look at you. You're all leveled up. You look great.
And I even got the mushroom you were looking for. Grek was so excited, and he quickly got to work. After a few moments, the new armor was ready, which he gave to me. This new armor fits great, and is so strong. I can't believe mushrooms could be used for something I'd actually like. I asked Grek if he was sure he wanted to stay here, and this time, he agreed to move to my base with me. He said after I had left, he was feeling a new kind of loneliness, and decided he would be happier with me and everyone else. Back at the base, I got right to work, constructing him his own place to live. I was glad he had decided to move in with everyone. No one should have to live such a lonely life. Soon, I had finished building his place.
Thanks for this, Zozo. I'm glad you were so weak I had to save you.
Aha, very funny. But I'm glad you're here too. How do you feel about going on a second rescue mission? I feel like I'm ready to save Donkey.
I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I don't think I can. I'm just too scared. There's something about that henchman that makes it too hard for me to face him. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know that with all of your training, I'll be able to do it. He smiled as we both looked off in the distance. I had subscribed to his methods and was rewarded. Now you just need to subscribe so we can keep adventuring together. After a long day, I headed back to my house. That's when I realized I could no longer fit through the front door. Oh man, this is no good. Well, just one way to fix it. I backed up and charged at the doorway, breaking the block with my head. Now I was able to enter my house and close the door. Ah, perfect. On days 67 to 70, I had arrived back at the henchman's fort. It was time to save Donkey. I feel like with my strength and armor, nothing can stop me, even the henchmen. I ran up to the fort, knocking guards out of my way. I used every attack I had, doing my best to take as little damage as possible. The new armor was pretty amazing though, and I felt very protected. There were a lot of knights here, but I wasn't afraid. Don't worry, Donkey, here I come. I kept pushing and knocking knights out of my way. As I fought, I had also picked up a crossbow. I figured that might come in handy at some point. Eventually, I had made it outside the henchman's room. It was time. On day 71 to 74, I stepped into the henchman's room. I could see him sitting on a throne. Donkey was nearby too, trapped in his cage. He was pretty happy to see see me.
Zozo, you're here!
Let my friend go, or prepare to be destroyed. The henchman didn't say anything. I guess you really don't talk, do you? Aha! We leapt into battle, exchanging blows. It was made clear really quickly I wasn't ready for this fight. Even with my new strength and armor, I was getting beat. I tried my burping attacks and my farting explosions, and nothing seemed to hurt him. But just then, Donkey called out with some advice.
Zozo, the switch! Hit the switch on the wall!
That's when I noticed that it was connected to a cage hanging from the ceiling. I got the henchman lined up under it, then hit the button, dropping the cage.
You did it! I'm saved! Free at last! Free at last!
I broke Donkey's cage, letting him out. I saw that there was a treasure chest nearby, so I went over to search it. This thing is full of netherite. That must be how his armor is so strong. I collected everything so I could use it later. I also opened a note from the king. According to this note, the ogre from the castle is an actual princess, not just a princess to me. Now I really have to rescue her. On days 75 to 78, Donkey and I busted out of the fort and made our way back to the base. Once we were back, Donkey pulled me aside to chat.
Oh man, Zozo, I feel terrible. I'm glad to see you didn't get hurt trying to rescue me.
It's okay, Donkey. You've just got to be more careful next time. That reminded me, I could never be too careful and needed to upgrade my gear. Using the netherite I had taken from the henchman, I was able to upgrade my pickaxe, shovel, sword, and axe. Next up, base improvements. Enchanting was a key part of improving my equipment, so I decided to add in some bookshelves to beef up the enchantment table's abilities. Then I headed outside and worked on the entryway, replacing all the woodwork with stone. Now I could have a proper door, too. Later on, I was inside my house when Greg came to talk to me.
Someone has been busy. This place looks great. I found something that I thought you could use.
Greg tossed out a fire aspect book. Oh, awesome! This is just what I needed. I grabbed the book and headed over to my enchanting table. Using the enchantment, I upgraded my netherite sword. Now it had a cool fire effect to it. Now I'll be too hot to handle. On day 79 to 84, I was too tempted to try out the new sword, so I took it out to the swamp. There were some jungle zombies nearby, so I got right to work, putting it to the test. Oh man, this thing is a beast. I can't wait to use it against some castle knights. Just then, a creeper snuck up behind me and exploded. Ah, that really hurt. But what's that? The creeper's explosion had opened up a hidden cave. As I looked over the edge, another creeper exploded behind me, knocking me in. As I went into the cave, I saw it was filled with monsters. Oh, why couldn't it have been full of jewels? Or even better, cookies? I kept fighting my way through, taking some good hits, though my new equipment was next level, and I was able to cut through many rounds of baddies. As I continued fighting, I soon saw the cave open into a bigger room with a big mushroom in the middle. What's the deal with all the mushrooms everywhere? Suddenly, the mushroom exploded, revealing a monster. Wow, why is this here? What was going on? It's like my entire life was mocking my distaste for mushrooms by making all the mushrooms I came across attack me. This just wasn't cool. Back off, you evil demon mushroom. Trust me, I don't want to eat you. This guy was super freaky, but I would rather eat a mushroom than be destroyed by one. I swung my fire sword and finally took it out. As he disappeared, I saw it dropped a giant mushroom. I picked it up, but saw its inscription said that I should eat it only in times of need. Who knows? Maybe it could come in handy. On days 85 to 89, I had made it back to the base and went to talk to Greg. I told him all about how well the sword had worked and even about my battle with the mushrooms. I don't think he believed me, but he said he did. I finally feel like I'm ready to try and rescue my family. It was then that I remembered how the ogre princess will need somewhere to live once we broke her out, and this place was far from being nice enough for royalty. So with that in mind, I got to work, adding even more upgrades to the base. Hopefully no one else would want to attack us, but if they did, we'd need to build a decent wall. It was going to be a simple addition, but I think it made a big difference. Speaking of builds, I decided it was time to finish the statue. I was really liking how the gingerbread man was looking. It was almost like he could start talking at any moment. As I finished up, I remembered I had planted ingredients to make my own cookies. I knew what I had to do next. On days 90 to 94, I spent the days gathering up as much wheat and cocoa as I could. I was going to need a lot of ingredients for all the cookies I had to make. If I'm going to bake these cookies right though, I need a proper kitchen. I thought the place looked a little classier with a better kitchen too. Once the kitchen was complete, I made as many cookies as I could. With all the cookies baked, I then spent the day passing out all the cookies to my new friends. I told them all how I was sad my family had been kidnapped, but was grateful for each of them. We really felt like a big, happy adopted family. With all the cookies passed out, it was time to go to the castle. Before I could leave though, Donkey came to talk to me.
Zozo, you really think I'm gonna let you go charging in there all alone?
You'll have to let me, Donkey. You remember how dangerous it was, and plus, if things go wrong, everyone here will need someone to lead them. I can't think of anyone better than you. Donkey was really grateful to be so trusted and thanked me for being his friend. That was that, and it was time to go. On days 95 to 97, I was traveling back toward the castle when I came across a weird robot stuck in the sand. Hang on, little guy, I'll help you. I rushed over to him and dug him out with a shovel. Yahoo, thank you. I was worried my battery was going to run out. Hey, wait a second. Have we met? Are you serious? Of course we have. I'm you. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot I spent 100 days as a robot. That was one of the craziest adventures. That fat cat was so greedy. Oh man, tell me about it. It was also sad. We lost some good friends along the way. Very true. I'm hoping I can save some family and friends right now. Wait, you're in the middle of an adventure right now? What are you talking to me for? Go, go, go! The little robot zoomed away. Yeah, I better get going. But seriously, after this video, go check out my robot adventure. A while later, I arrived back at the village outside of the castle. I could see the place was full of knights who were being mean to the villagers. Hey you, leave them alone! I charged in and started taking out all of the knights. I wasn't afraid of anyone now that I was big and strong. Soon enough, the knights were all defeated and some villagers came over to me.
Thank you for rescuing us. But you're an ogre? We had always heard ogres were evil.
Yeah, well, it might be best to not always judge people by how they look or believe everything you hear. Some people might surprise you. Just then, I noticed more knights and rushed off to fight. I couldn't believe people could say such mean things about ogres. I had to hurry and save everyone. Then they'd see how nice ogres really are. On day 98, I entered the castle grounds. The guards continued to swarm in, attacking me like a pack of hornets. As I fought them, I noticed that I was being watched. Up on the balcony, I could see the tiny king and the princess. Don't worry, I'm coming! The tiny king pulled her back into the room. I had to hurry. I managed to fight off the rest of the knights, then headed into the tower. I entered the throne room, but the king wasn't there. The henchman, get out of my way. The henchman stared at me and said nothing. You give me the creeps. What do you think about this? I walked up to him and threw out a cookie. He picked up the cookie and stared at it. Even though he didn't say anything, I could tell he was confused. Distraction! Hi-ya! I swung my sword and hit him, lighting him on fire. He swung back and the fight was on. I couldn't back down this time, and there was no cages to trap him in. It was either him or me. How can you support the king? He's hurting innocent animals and ogres. The henchman didn't care and kept hitting me with his heavy blows. I was stronger, but he was still just as dangerous as ever. Our fight had led us to the top of some stairs and into a narrow hallway. It was a close battle, and I was starting to wonder if I could actually beat him. I managed to land a good hit when suddenly his helmet disintegrated and he was revealed to be an ogre. What the? You're an ogre? But wait a second, why do you look so familiar? Just then, the wall exploded and GRINCH came through the wall.
Zozo, wait! This ogre, he's my brother.
Your brother? Just then, the henchman spoke. GRINCH, you old softy, get out of my way.
No, SHREK. I've been too afraid of you for too long. Zozo here has taught me what it means to be brave.
Oh, how cute. You've got yourself your first friend. No wonder, you're both losers.
Zozo, you go on and save the princess. I'll handle my brother. His greed has caused him to forget what matters in life.
Handle me, will ya? I'll show you.
I hurried and ran out of the room as I heard the two ogres begin to fight. I had to get to the princess. On day 99, I ran into the next room and recognized it as the tower from my dream. That's when a bunch of knights started attacking me again. You little tin heads better get out of my way. I knocked them out left and right, throwing them down the stairs. I was going to make it to the top no matter what. Eventually, I reached the top and opened the fancy doors. The king and princess were inside. How can you call yourself a king, hurting innocent animals and creatures in your kingdom?
A king? Please. I am a lord. Lord Farquaad.
All right then, Lord Farquaad. Your cruelty has gone on long enough. This is the end.
Not so fast, ogre.
Suddenly, Lord Farquaad pulled out a potion and drank it down. He grew and turned into a horrible-looking monster, blowing the roof off the castle.
Oh, who is the big guy now? Wait, why is my voice an even higher pitch than before? Whatever. Bye-bye, ogre.
He attacked. I don't know what he drank, but he definitely wasn't the little guy anymore. His hits really hurt. I managed to get some hits on him, but even on fire, he couldn't be stopped.
You pesky ogres, your time is over.
Just then, I remembered something. The magical growth mushroom. I was really hoping I'd never have to use this. Hopefully it helps. I gulped down the mushroom. It was disgusting, but it worked. I grew to a massive size, and I gained even more hearts. Oh yeah, I'll show you who the big guy is.
It doesn't matter. I'll still defeat you.
We jumped at each other and continued to fight. He was strong, but I was stronger. Why are you doing this? Why are you keeping all these ogres as prisoners?
You see that ugly brute standing over there? I paid good money for someone to go and pick her up for me. And when she arrived, she had been cursed by a witch. How could I ever love something that looks like that?
Wow, this guy was such a jerk. How could he be so mean? He had started doing ground attacks too, which did some real damage.
They told me that she would look like that until she fell in love. Can you believe that? So I figured I could just get her to fall in love with another ugly ogre. Then once she was back to normal, I could take her back. But you ogres aren't just ugly, you're violent too.
Clearly you don't understand how love works, and you definitely don't understand ogres. It was time to end this. I focused as hard as I could and landed the final blow. The fire then finished him off. He was defeated. Princess, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
thank you for getting rid of him. By the way, my name is Fiona.
Fiona, it's great to finally meet you. I'm Zozo. I'm sorry to hear you've been cursed. Is there anything we can do to help that?
No, unfortunately, curse rules are curse rules. Only way to break it is if I fall in love. But you know what? I actually really like being an ogre. Every ogre I've talked to has been so nice. And besides, love takes time to blossom. It's not something that can happen overnight.
That's true. Hopefully you find the right person someday. But in the meantime, could you help me? I have to rescue my family.
I know where the ogres are being held. Follow me.
On day 100, I followed Fiona down and into the dungeons. My family was all here. Guys, it's me, Zozo. I'm here to rescue you. Fiona and I broke all the cages, letting everyone free. They couldn't believe I had made it all the way here to rescue them. It was a great reunion. Before I left, though, I met back up with GRINCH. He was looking over the balcony and was sad. GRINCH, what happened with your brother?
We had an epic fight, and I managed to corner him on this balcony. It was clear I was going to beat him, and he jumped over to the edge and escaped. Before he left, though, he said he was going to find himself out in the swamp. I can only hope he finds himself a good friend like I did, who can help him become a better man.
Wow, I hope so too. By the way, this is Fiona.
Charmed to meet you, lassie.
Likewise.
Maybe love could blossom faster than we thought. We soon left the castle and returned to the base. Donkey was really excited to see me, and we all celebrated. It looked like the swamp was once again a safe place to live. For now.
On day 1, I spawned in as Mario. Hey, it's me, Mario! Except I was just a little baby. I only had 3 hearts. I looked around and saw Princess Peach. She was also just a little baby. Hello, Princess. Do you know where we are?
I have no idea. It looks like some kind of forest.
I looked around and all of the trees close to us looked like they had been burned down. The grass was dead too. We were basically in a little crater. Huh, that's odd. Just then, a bunch of Koopa Troopas came out from the trees and grabbed Peach. Hey, you let her go! I jumped on one Koopa and he took a lot of damage. Neat. I jumped again, but the Koopas got some hits in. I only had a little bit of health left. Before I knew it, some Koopa Troopas were taking Peach away. I didn't have the strength to fight all of them, but I tried to follow after to see where they were going.
You let me go!
Peach struggled, but it was no use. There were too many Koopas and she was tiny. I kept following, but then all of a sudden, they disappeared. Hey, where did they go? I looked around but didn't see them anywhere. It was getting dark out, so I decided to find some shelter for the night. I would look for Peach tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up and went to gather some supplies. I couldn't help Peach if I didn't have some sort of weapons. I gathered some wood from some trees and went to building a crafting table. Then I made some wood tools along with a sword. This'll do the trick. I decided that I wanted to set up a base. I needed to make sure I was safe from Bowser and his goons. I got right to work gathering supplies and clearing out an area next to the water. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was safe. I went to grab some more supplies when I was attacked by some Goombas. Get away, you little shrooms. I drew my sword and went about slicing them up. It was super easy thanks to my new weapons. Yeah, take that! I gathered the rest of my materials and went back to put some finishing touches on the base. Home sweet home. On day 3, I decided to go exploring for some new materials, and I needed some sort of food. My hunger bar was starting to get really low. I managed to find some mushrooms, but I wanted to find some animals. I happened upon a small abandoned house with some pigs and sheep in a pen. Perfect! Just as I was grabbing them, I heard a yell from behind some trees. I quickly ran over and saw my friend Toad. He was being attacked by some guys in masks. Hey, you leave my friend alone! I charged with my sword and smacked the shy guys left and right, but they were too strong. Run, Toad! Together we ran through the trees and lost the shy guys.
Mario, you're alive! And you're small.
Yeah, I'm alive. Why wouldn't I be?
Everyone thought when you went to go save Princess Peach that you died.
I was so confused.
You went to go fight Bowser in his castle a couple of days ago. When you never came out, everyone thought he defeated you.
Yikes, well I'm here, but I'm not as strong as I can be. Some Koopas kidnapped Peach, which I assume was Bowser's doing since they worked for him, but I'm going to save her.
I believe in you.
I invited Toad to live in my base where it would be safe. He happily agreed and we took off. On days 4 to 5, I decided to make Toad a little house for himself. It was a nice little place, and he seemed really appreciative.
Wow, this is great. Thanks.
Of course. I also planted a garden full of my mushrooms. I figured I should probably go out to get some food for Toad as well, so I went exploring. I managed to find some wheat seeds and some carrots, but then I was attacked by some Goombas. Get back! I managed to finish them off in just a few swipes. Man, if only everything was that easy. Just then, I noticed that one of the Goombas had dropped something. It looked like a big mushroom. I checked it, and it was a super mushroom. Whoa, cool! This will come in handy for later. I made my way back to the base with my seeds and began planting. It was really starting to come together. On day 6 to 8, I went to gather some animals. I hadn't gotten any before because Toad and I were attacked, but I was determined to get some now. I headed out near the water when I saw Bowser. He was with some of his Koopas. I decided to attack. Hey, give me back Princess Peach, you overgrown lizard! I charged at Bowser. He wasn't expecting it, and I managed to get a few hits in.
Puny little man, take this!
Just then, Bowser let off a breath of fire. Ow, 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 ow. I jumped away, trying to extinguish the flames. Bowser just laughed and took off with his goons. Wow, I forgot he could breathe fire. After another minute of letting my hearts regenerate, I went back to look for some animals. I had had a rough day, but I still needed to take care of me and my friend. On days 9 to 10, I headed back to the base with some sheep and pigs. I made some quick pens for them and herded them in so they wouldn't escape. Then I found Toad and told him about my encounter.
That's awesome that you took on Bowser.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I did get some hits in. I knew I could defeat Bowser, I just had to keep training. Then, I had an idea. Hey Toad, I want to build a statue just outside the base. It'll let people know that I'm still here and that I'm going to defeat Bowser once and for all.
That sounds great.
Toad agreed to help and we cleared out an area. We started building and managed to get some of the base done. Can you tell what it's going to be? I also made some modifications to the base, including a lounge area and a bigger garden. It was looking good. On days 11 through 12, I went back to my spawning point. I needed some more information about what had happened before, and I figured that might be a good place to start. I approached the crater and immediately I was sucked into the sand. Ah! Before I knew it, everything had gone black. Then, all of a sudden, I was my old self again. I was big and strong. I was storming Bowser's castle, fighting my way through the Koopas. I defeated them easily and found Bowser in his throne room. He had Peach. Let her go, Bowser. He laughed and pointed a weird-looking shell at me. Peach managed to run forward and grab me as the magic hit us both. We disappeared as Bowser screamed. All of a sudden, I felt something pulling me out of the sand. I gasped for breath and realized it was Toad. Toad, how did you know where I was?
I followed you because you were being super odd this morning. I saw you fall into the sand, and I couldn't get to you for a while. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I remember what happened. I told Toad about my flashback.
Whoa, that's crazy. I wonder where Bowser got a weapon like that.
No idea, but he won't use it again. I'll make sure of it. On days 13 to 15, I went back out to gather some more supplies. I happened upon the same abandoned house where I found Toad and saw the same Shy Guys hanging out around it. I tried to sneak past, but they saw me and attacked. Hey, I wasn't doing anything to you. They didn't listen and just kept hitting me, but I was stronger this time and I managed to defeat all of them. Yeah! Just then, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a regular-sized Mario. I had my mustache back too. Hey, I feel like my old self again. I jumped and realized I could go much higher than before. Wow, this is amazing. I'm basically flying. I gathered the rest of the wood and branches easily with my new jumping ability. I could take on anybody now. On days 16 through 19, I found a cave that had some really great materials in it. I was able to gather some stone for some new tools and weapons. Neat. I went down further into the cave when I saw something floating in the air. What is that? I got closer and I realized it was a boo. Before I knew it, it saw me, but then it covered its face. Okay? Maybe it wouldn't be a problem. I started to mine some of the materials, but then it attacked me. I turned back around and it covered its face again. Okay, I see how it is. I tried to keep my eyes on the boo, but it kept getting attacks in. Eventually, I managed to hit it and it disappeared in a puff. I hurried and made a crafting table, and with my new materials, I made a stone pickaxe, sword, and other tools. Nice! I had some good materials and decided to head back to the base to make some upgrades. On days 20 to 22, I made it back to the base just as Toad started yelling.
Help! It's Bowser! He's at the back door!
I hurried and drew my sword before approaching the backside of the base. I went up onto the top of the wall and looked down. Sure enough, it was Bowser. Hey, get away from here, Bowser! He looked up at me and shrieked.
I knew I would find you eventually. I heard you were in the forest somewhere. Give it up. You're no match for me.
That's enough talking. I jumped down and attacked. With my new ability, I could jump to avoid Bowser, but I couldn't jump on top of his shell. His spikes were too, well, spiky. Ouch!
Princess Peach is mine. You can't have her.
Bowser drew a large breath and then breathed fire at me. I was able to jump and then land a blow on his head.
Ah!
He shrieked again and started to retreat. Yeah, run away, you coward. I'm not through with you yet. I let him go, knowing full well that I would see him again. I knew I could eventually beat him. I wasn't very strong, but I would get there. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the abandoned shack to check it out. I had been too busy trying to defeat the Shy Guys that I didn't even check out the house. Inside were a few beds and tables, but I found a secret hatch. Neat! It led down into the ground into a small room. In the corner was a chest. I opened it up, and there was a bunch of stuff inside. Wow, this is great! I gathered the string, iron ingots, seeds, and then I noticed there was an iron sword. Hey, this is exactly what I need! I drew the sword and took a swipe. It was much better than my stone sword. Wow, I feel great! And you know what will make you feel great? Subscribing and clicking the bell. You'll be just as happy as me. I went back up the ladder with my new stuff, excited to show Toad what I had found. On days 27 to 31, I started to work on the statue, but then realized we needed some green dye. Hey Toad, where can I get some green dye?
Cacti! If you grab a bunch of those, we should be able to dye some wool.
Perfect. I'll go looking for some. I traveled through the forest for a while before making it to the desert. It was so hot. Sheesh, this is miserable. I looked around and saw some cacti. As I was approaching, I felt something hit me. What was that? I looked around and saw a Pokey. Pokey and had blended into the sand really well. But it wasn't just one Pokey, there were a bunch, and I was surrounded. Geez, where did you come from? I drew my new sword and started swatting at the plants. They kept falling on me and I had to dodge their tall bodies. After a minute, I had defeated them all. That was a new one. I grabbed as many cacti as I could hold and headed out of the desert looking for Pokies. I saw some and quickly skirted around them. As fun as that was, I don't really want to do it again. I made it back safely and managed to dye the sheep green. I sheared them and started on the statue. It was looking good. We weren't even close to finishing, but it was going to turn out awesome. On days 32 to 33, I went out to look for some more people. I couldn't remember much from my former life, but I did know that I had friends. They were probably hoping that I was still alive. I went through the forest, past the edge of the desert, and went further into the taiga. I was traveling for a long time when I saw a light up ahead. When I got closer, I realized it was a castle. I don't remember whose this is, but I'm sure they are friendly. I approached and was immediately attacked by some Goombas. Get back! Just then, someone came out to help me. It was Daisy. After a minute, we defeated all of the Goombas. Daisy!
You're alive. I'm so glad.
She invited me into the castle and tea was served.
It's so good to see you. I desperately need your help.
With what?
Have you not heard? Luigi has been captured by Wario. Well, I guess you wouldn't have heard, since it happened the day after you disappeared.
I couldn't believe it. Man, did us brothers have bad luck or what? I'll go get him. He is my brother after all.
Oh, thank you.
She gave me directions for the lair that Luigi was being held in, and I started to make my way in that direction. On days 36 to 39, I went looking for Luigi. I knew that I had a brother, but all the details were fuzzy. That weird magic shell that Bowser had used on me was really doing a number on my memory. I made my way through the taiga into a tropical rainforest area. It was raining and I could tell that it was going to get dark soon. Ugh, I'm all soggy. Just then, the rainforest opened up into a clearing. There was a rundown castle and lots of plants surrounding the walls. Looks easy enough. I saw a little bird fly past, and all of a sudden, one of the plants gobbled it up. Piranha plants. I should have known. I scoped out the area again, trying to find a way around the carnivorous plants. I looked up and decided I was going to try to climb one of the trees overhanging the castle. I made my way over and jumped up the branches. All was going well until I stepped onto a slippery branch. Ah! On days 40 to 43, I was falling to my death. I was just about to hit the ground when I realized I was in water. I hadn't noticed the small river running alongside the castle. Phew, that was too close. I couldn't climb the tree, so I guess I had to go the original way. I maneuvered around the plants, slicing them if their jaws got too close to me. Before I knew it, I was at the front door. It wasn't even locked as I went to open it. Amateurs. I walked in and up the stairs where I saw Luigi in a cave.
Brother!
I ran toward him, but then Wario and Waluigi stepped out.
Not so fast, Red. You're ours now.
Yeah, ours.
Give me a break. I attacked the goons and they screamed. What were they expecting? A nice little chat over brunch? I attacked over and over again, and before I knew it, the goons were gone. They dropped a key, which I picked up.
Brother, you're alive!
Yeah, it's all Bowser's fault. I'm getting stronger though, and pretty soon, I'll save Peach. Again.
What is it with these princesses getting captured?
I looked at the cage Luigi was in and raised my eyebrow.
Never mind. Just help me out.
I used the key to unlock the door and embraced Luigi. It's good to see you too, brother. Let's get you back to Daisy.
Wait, I need to grab my stuff.
Luigi went over to a nearby chest and grabbed some things. While he was doing that, I looked throughout the ruins to see if there was anything worth taking. I did find some wool, a few emeralds, and a diamond pickaxe. Not bad. We made our way out of the castle, carefully, and back to Daisy's castle. She was ecstatic to see Luigi again.
Thank you. If you would like to stay here, you are more than welcome.
Thanks, but I have a base not too far away.
Well, don't be a stranger. If you need anything, you know where to find us.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way back to the base. I found some sheep along the way and managed to lead them back. I figured that the statue needed some work, which meant more wool. I went straight to dyeing the sheep and shearing their coats. Toad came out and I told him all about my adventures. He helped me on the next part of the statue, and it was looking really nice. Can you guess what it is now? I also used my new pickaxe to gather some better materials for the base. I made the walls taller and added some more security measures. I didn't want Bowser anywhere close to us again. On days 50 to 53, we were under attack. The base was on fire and Koopas were running around. I managed to fight some off when I noticed that Bowser was hanging back in the forest. Coward, why don't you fight me yourself? He roared and the Koopas tried to retreat. I managed to finish off a couple more as I made my way toward Bowser. Just then I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a bigger version of myself. I screamed at Bowser and a plume of fire came out from my mouth. Whoa, I'm Fire Mario! Bowser must have been scared because he immediately began running away with the remaining Koopas. I hurried to put out the flames before it engulfed the entire base. I went to go check on Toad, but he wasn't in the house. I went looking around the base, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Oh no, Bowser must have taken him! It was all my fault. I was too preoccupied occupied with the Koopas and getting to Bowser that I didn't even notice them taking my friend away. I felt awful. I needed to find Toad, but I had no idea where to go. On days 54 to 57, I fixed the base. I needed to make sure that nobody ever could get in again. I made larger and thicker walls, built security towers, and even added some pressure plates with traps. No way anyone is getting in here. I knew I needed to save Toad. I just needed some help first. I decided to go back to Daisy to see what she knew about Bowser and his henchmen. I made my way to her castle and was immediately greeted by Luigi when I got there.
Rather, you've returned.
Not to stay. I need some help. He led me inside and I chatted with him and Daisy about Toad being kidnapped by Bowser.
Bowser doesn't keep prisoners in his castle unless it's Peach. He hands them all off to King Boo. They're friends, and King Boo gets a kick out of scaring people.
That's awful.
I'm sure that's where Bowser would have taken Toad. It's a long way from here and it's very creepy. Everyone calls it Shadowland. Nothing grows there.
How do I get there? They told me where the castle would be and wished me luck.
He has probably imprisoned all sorts of innocent people there. Be sure to help them.
Of course. I wanted to go save my friend, but I needed to make some preparations first. On days 58 to 62, I went searching for more materials. I found a cave and started mining some iron ore. I made some new tools and went digging deeper into the ground. After a while, I found some diamonds. Perfect! Just what I was looking for. I was about to mine them when I was attacked from behind. I flipped around and saw a bunch of boos. I'm not in the mood, ghosty boys. I used my new iron sword to swipe at them. They tried to fly away, but I got them all. Take that! I went back to mining my diamonds and was able to gather enough to make some weapons and some armor. Now that's slick. I could take on anything with this getup. I was feeling more confident about saving Toad already. On days 63 to 66, I headed back to the base to work on the statue. I dyed more wool green as well as some yellow and gathered it all up to make the next part of the statue. It's almost there, just one last part to go. I felt happy about my progress and how strong I was getting. I was going to rescue my friend. I knew it. I also know that if you subscribe and click that bell, that would help me to have the support I need to go and rescue my friends. On day 67 to 70, I followed the directions Daisy and Luigi gave me to get to the Shadowland. They were right. It was super creepy here. All the ground was covered in some sort of weird moss and the sky was darker. I only want to stay here for as long as it takes to get my friends, not a minute longer. I approached the castle and opened the tall double doors. They swung easily but made a haunting sound as they did so. I hated that. I walked into the castle and the door swung closed behind me. Oh great. Just what I wanted. All of a sudden, a bunch of boos came out from behind the pillars and started attacking me. These guys weren't shy at all about getting up in my face. I'd rather you not do that, thanks. I managed to poof them all out of existence before heading up the grand staircase. King Boo has some fancy digs. I continued up further but couldn't find anyone. They must be in the basement. I continued back down the stairs, looking around for the entry to the basement. There didn't seem to be a staircase anywhere. That's odd. I went into a room that I assumed was some sort of study. I looked at the walls and noticed that one of them looked like a different color than the rest of the bricks. I kept looking and noticed a cool little paperweight on the desk, shaped like a crown. I tried to grab it, but it was stuck to the desk. I tilted it and in doing so, opened up a secret passageway. Nice! On day 71 to 74, I went down the stairs into the creepy dungeon. There were cobwebs everywhere and I thought I heard screams as I descended further. I hope my friends are okay. The stairway opened into a large room full of cages hanging from the ceiling. I could see Toad.
You're here!
I ran to get closer to the cage, but then I felt something hit me from behind. I immediately felt dizzy. I turned around and could barely make out King Boo with his crown and scepter. He laughed at me with his creepy smile.
Someone wants to be a hero. How fun.
He hit me again with his scepter and I felt myself losing health. Fast. The dizziness was overwhelming. What kind of weird magic was this? I'm here to friends my save from you, Boo King.
Yes. The scepter is doing its job. Don't worry. You'll be unconscious in no time.
I waved my sword around mindlessly. Move, you big ball of creepy creep. Before I knew it, I had fallen down and everything went black. On days 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage and my head hurt. Man, that did not go as planned.
You're telling me.
I looked over and could see Toad, along with Toadette, Yoshi, Rosalina, and Birdo. Wow, I guess we're all a bunch of geniuses, huh?
You're still feeling the effects of the scepter. Just take it easy.
Toad was right. I was feeling pretty awful still. I looked around the room and noticed there was a large release button on the wall, but it was too far away. Then I had an idea. Hey everybody, try to take cover, okay? Everyone huddled in their cages as I let out my fire breath. I aimed toward the button and the pressure from the fire activated it. All the cages popped open and we were free. Everyone, get upstairs. We need to escape.
Not so fast.
I looked and saw King Boo coming down the stairs. Everyone backed up against the wall. You won't get me again, Boo. He smiled his creepy smile and charged me. I let out another fire breath, which sent him flying. He screamed and tried to go back up the stairs. Not so fast. I let out another fire breath and got him square in the face. He screamed again. I ran up and hit him a few more times times with my sword, doing some hefty damage. Then, in the blink of an eye, King Boo was no more.
Yay!
Everyone cheered and started heading up the stairs. We all made it out and headed toward the base, triumphant. On days 79 to 84, we traveled back to the base. It was a long journey, but we were all doing okay. Before we got there, we ran into Daisy and Luigi.
We have just heard the most terrible news.
What is it? Is everyone okay?
For now, but Bowser has figured out a way to amplify the magic of the shell he used on you. He's going to make all of us small and weak and then capture us.
Everyone started freaking out. Everybody, it's okay. I will go and stop him before he has a chance to use the shell.
We thought it would be safer with you. Is it okay if we stay at the base?
Of course. We continued to make our way to the base. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I needed to stop Bowser before it was too late. On days 85 to 89, we all arrived back at the base. We got right to work making more houses for everyone and planting more food. It was good to know that everyone could be safe here. After a while, Toad came up to me.
I noticed that King Boo dropped his scepter and his crown after you defeated him, so I hurried and grabbed those before heading out.
Good thinking, Toad. He gave me the items. Both seemed powerful, but I noticed the gems were missing in the crown. I wonder if that's what gave it its power. I already knew what the scepter could do, so I didn't think too much of it.
Hey, let's finish the statue. Let's show Bowser just how powerful you really are.
We went to work finishing up the last part of the statue. It had taken a good bit of time, but it turned out amazing. I was super proud of it. We went back down to the base, where Toadette greeted me.
I need to talk to you about the crown Toad found.
Okay, what's up?
Before Bowser captured Toad, the rest of us were all in the dungeon for a long time. I overheard Bowser talking to one of his henchmen about stealing the gems from King Boo's crown. He didn't want Boo to become more powerful than him. Boo assumed it was a servant who stole them, but it was Bowser. I know where he keeps the gems. You should get them so you can use the crown against Bowser.
That's great information, Toadette. Thanks. Now I felt even more confident in my ability to defeat Bowser. On days 90 to 94, I traveled to the place that Toadette had told me about. It seemed like a smaller compound guarded by some Koopas, though these Koopas looked a little tougher than the other ones I had seen before. This must be the place. The security is better. He must be hiding some good stuff here. I snuck around and opened the door. I was met by a bunch of Koopas, which I smacked with my sword. I knocked out dozens of Koopas as I headed toward the small tower in the middle. Nobody could touch me. I was so powerful. I made it to the tower without a scratch and opened the door. I made my way up the stairs and into a small room with a chest in the middle.
Get out of here before I turn you into a nice mantelpiece for the wall.
I turned and saw a Koopa, this one larger than most I had seen. I'd like to see you try. The Koopa charged and actually got a few good hits in. He was a really good fighter. I dodged and swiped with my sword. He put up a good fight, but before long, he was gone. Oof, that was a bit tough. I went to the chest and opened it up. Inside was some gold, a bunch of netherite ingots, as well as the gems. I put the gems in the crown and it started to glow. I didn't want to put it on just yet. I figured I would save it for later. Thanks, Toadette. That was an awesome stash. I headed back to the base with my pockets brimming with all kinds of treasures. On days 95 to 97, I took the netherite I had found and upgraded my diamond gear into netherite armor and weapons. Nice, this is going to be amazing for my fight. I went around the base saying goodbye to my friends.
Goodbye, brother. Good luck in there.
Thanks.
Thanks for all of your help. You go rescue Princess Peach and take Bowser down.
Will do.
Here's some mushrooms for good luck.
Thanks, Toad. You're an awesome friend. Everyone waved as I left the base. It was go time. On day 98, I traveled to Bowser's base. I crossed all sorts of terrains on the way, which made it a long journey, but it was worth it if I could save my friends. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. It's been awesome having you so far. We'd love for you to tell us what you'd like to see next. I made my way over a hill and finally saw Bowser's terrifying castle. Now was my time to shine. On day 99, I approached Bowser's castle. This place is enormous. I entered the castle and it was empty. Huh. Weird. I went up multiple flights of stairs without seeing anyone. Okay, this is really strange. I finally made it to the throne room where I saw Princess Peach. She was full grown now, just like me, but she was in shackles.
Mario, help!
I approached, but then remembered what happened the last time. I looked around and sure enough, Bowser was trying to hide behind a pillar, waiting to attack. Nice try, big guy. He held the shell in his hand, a sort of mechanism strapped to it. It seemed to all be taped together. It honestly looked a little silly. You do that yourself? Is that why all your Koopas left? They saw how incompetent you are and don't want to follow you anymore?
What's it to you? I'm going to rule this land, and nobody is going to stop me.
He went to push a button and nothing happened.
What? Why?
You broke it, Bowser. I tried to tell you to give it up.
You be quiet.
Bowser tossed aside the shell, ready to breathe fire at me. I hurried and put King Boo's crown on. Just then, I leveled up into a huge Mario, just as big as Bowser. I'm Super Mario. I charged at Bowser with all my might. We exchanged blows. He was taking a lot of hits, but he wasn't doing too bad himself. I saw my health starting to decline, but couldn't give up now. Using all my strength, I made one final blow, knocking Bowser down, defeating him.
Yay, you did it!
Princess Peach jumped up and down for joy. We were free. On day 100, Princess Peach and I made it back to the base, safe and sound. Everyone cheered as we came in. It felt good to be a hero.
On day 1, I spawned in as Black Panther. I only have 4 hearts? That doesn't seem like a lot for a superhero, but I can move quickly thanks to my cat-like reflexes. And it looks like I have vibranium claws too. Neat! Hey look, there's a waterfall right behind me. And there's some kind of skeleton with a giant battle axe? What is he doing here? Uh-oh, are we about to fight? Bring it on! The skeleton ran at me and swung his weapon, but with my cat-like reflexes, I dodged him easily. I ran up behind him and hit him with my claws. These claws were really powerful. Whoa, he fell right over the waterfall. I won! Too bad I can't get any loot from that skeleton because he fell down so far. I really wanted that cool battle axe. I decided to go to the bottom of the waterfall and look to see if I could find it. When I got there, I saw that the skeleton was still standing. He ran at me again, but this time I faced him head on. He was no match. And look at that, he dropped the battle axe. It's not vibranium, but it's still pretty cool. I wonder where that skeleton got it. I decided to take shelter in a cave under the waterfall and relax for the rest of the day. On day 2, I was woken up by the sounds of an angry gorilla. It had come out from the back of the cave and was trying to attack me. I looked at it a little closer and realized that it wasn't an ordinary gorilla. It was a zombie ape. Ah, get away from me, zombie! Don't make me use my new weapon. I ran away from the zombie ape and out into the sunlight where it didn't want to follow me. I guess that it was one of those mobs that take damage in the daytime. It was an undead just like the skeleton I fought yesterday. Maybe they were common in this area. I decided to leave the waterfall behind and follow the river towards the grasslands. Whoa, there are so many animals here. I could see a rhino and a giraffe, and it looked like they weren't zombies. Thank goodness. I guess I'll let them eat grass in peace, especially because I was starting to get hungry too. I saw some berry bushes, so I started punching them to gather food. Once I got enough, I refilled my canteen in the river. Surviving would be a lot easier now, and if I got into a fight, I already had some pretty good weapons. Still, I thought it might be good to build a shelter in case the zombies came out at night. I used the battle axe I got from the skeleton to chop down trees. I soon had enough wood to make a small hut and bed. It was almost nighttime, so I went inside and went to sleep. When I woke up on day 3, I noticed that there was a tree outside that wasn't there yesterday. It was really big and looked ancient and magical. There was a glowing panther spirit sitting in the branches. I made my way over to the magic tree, and the panther spirit started talking to me.
Zozo, this land needs your protection.
Oh, it looked like I was going to get a superhero quest. I stood there and I listened closely.
We are under attack by an undead warlord to the west of the grasslands. He is turning everything into zombies and skeletons. You must stop him.
An undead warlord? That sounded scary, and he was probably really strong. I'd need a lot more than 4 hearts to take him on, but I couldn't just ignore a quest from the panther spirit. The people and animals needed my help too, and maybe there was a way to turn the animals that had already become zombies back to normal.
Journey westward, and you will find his evil lair.
I spent the rest of the day gathering supplies for my journey and practicing with my weapons on any mobs I could find. On days 4 to 5, I traveled from my hut in the grasslands all the way to the heart of the desert. According to the panther spirit, I was heading in the right direction to reach the overlord's lair. Before long, I saw a zombie boar wandering around in the sand. Oh no, looks like the overlord has already turned the animals in the desert into zombies. The zombie boar charged me, and I lost a bit of health. I had to protect myself, so I drew my battle axe and took a couple swings. I'm sorry, Mr. Boar. The fight was over in no time. I spotted an oasis nearby. I had been traveling for a long time, and night would be here soon. I didn't want to be caught outside if more zombies showed up, so I gathered some wood from the palm trees and set up camp. I had just finished my little oasis hut when a genie appeared out of thin air. I thought I was going to get 3 wishes at first, but then he spoke, and I knew he wasn't the nice kind of genie.
Who dares come to my oasis without an invitation?
I said I was sorry and that I just needed somewhere to spend the night, but the genie created a sandstorm, and suddenly the oasis was gone. He may not have granted me any wishes, but he had left an item behind in the sand. I went to pick it up, and it turned out to be a brand new pair of Roadrunner boots. Awesome, now my movement over the sand will be twice as fast. On days 6 to 8, I was still in the desert when I saw a gigantic archway made of bones. There was a skeleton warrior underneath it, and he was carrying an obsidian shield and spear. It didn't look like he was going to let me pass without a fight. I put my battle axe away and got my vibranium claws ready.
You cannot go any further. I am the Skull Guardian, and you can't beat me.
He seemed serious, but I had to try. If I couldn't win here, there was no way I could beat the Overlord. I attacked him, but even my vibranium claws couldn't get through his shield. It was too tough, even for obsidian, and his spear kept damaging me. I was almost out of health. The only thing I could do to survive was run away. Good thing I had those Roadrunner boots. I turned around and got out of there. The Skull Guardian stayed at the archway and shouted after me.
You are too weak. Come back when you are stronger.
Maybe I still needed some more training. While I was running away though, I was spotted by a group of hoglins. I could have easily run away from them, but I was tired of running. I stopped and decided to face them. I took out my claws and defeated each and every one of them. When I defeated the last hoglin, I suddenly felt something inside of me. I grew into an even bigger Black Panther with more hearts. I also saw that the hoglins had dropped a ton of leather. I could use this when I got back to my base. On days 9 to 10, I went back to the grasslands to expand my hut into a base. I used some sandstone from the desert to make it into a small tower and crafted myself a full set of leather armor too. I then crafted a shovel. I felt a pull to this area for some reason, like it was calling to me, so I dug down until I hit some stone. There, I had an entrance to a mine beneath the tower now. I'd have to check it out further later. I built more furniture inside the base. Using wood I was able to gather from a bunch of trees in the grasslands. The one tree that I didn't use for wood was the ancient ancient spirit tree. The panther spirit wasn't there, but I was hoping that maybe it would show up to help me again. I definitely needed some advice on how to defeat the Skull Guardian. If I couldn't beat him, I would never be able to defeat the Overlord and save this land from zombification. On days 11 to 12, I was walking along the river when I saw the zombie ape from the cave splashing around in the water. Had it followed me all the way to the grasslands? It really might have, because it noticed me and ran up to attack. I was a lot stronger now though. This ape didn't know what he was getting himself into. Sure enough, I was able to win against the zombie ape that I ran away from on day 2. I looked at the river to see a water elemental emerging from below the surface.
Thank you. That zombie had taken over my home behind the waterfall, and last night it chased me all the way here to the grasslands.
Who are you?
I am the spirit of the river, and I can see that you are a great hero. This land needs a protector, and I'm glad you were here to save me.
I'm not that great of a hero yet. I need to beat the Skull Guardian or I'll never save the animals.
Have faith in yourself. I am friends with the Panther Spirit, and he believes you can do this.
But last time I fought against him, I didn't even damage him, and he almost took all of my health.
The only reason you lost to the Skull Guardian was because he had an enchantment cast on him that shields him from the attacks of the living.
The spirit of the river handed me a potion.
Drink this potion, and your claws will be able to strike true. That should make it a fair fight.
I said thank you to the spirit. If so many beings were counting on me, I couldn't give up. On days 13 to 15, I decided to check out my mine again, but first, I needed to grab my pickaxe. I still felt something drawing me to dig deeper, so I started digging down. Whoa, what's that? It was a strange material. Vibranium! Turns out, there was a lot of it just below the surface. This land must be rich in it or something. Either that, or I just discovered the only vibranium mine around. I gathered a bunch of it and went to my base to see what I could craft. It turned out, I could make a full set of vibranium armor and tools. Super! I have some serious armor now. My base is also looking way cooler. It's tricked out with vibranium walls and minecart rails. I kept the ancient tree protected in its own little courtyard and made sure to give it plenty of water. I also remembered to plant trees around the grasslands so that I get more wood in the future. On day 16 to 19, I was making my way back through the desert when I ran into a group of husks, and it looked like they wanted to meet the Black Panther up close and personal. The husks attacked me, but I fought back, clawing away at them. Take that, you dried out no-good zombie, and here's one for you, you wannabe mummy. Before I knew it, I had beaten the whole group, but then I heard something and turned around. There was one more husk, and this one was way bigger than the others. That's a huge husk. I wasn't scared though, and I rushed right in to face him. The huge husk hit a lot harder than his little brothers, but his skin was just as soft as theirs, and before long, he was down for the count too. You know, I was glad those husks attacked me though. It was good practice for my claws, since I knew I'd be facing the Skull Guardian soon. On days 20 to 22, I reached the archway where the Skull Guardian was waiting and challenged him to a fight.
So, you think you can beat me this time?
Sure I can. Watch this! I drank the potion that the water elemental gave me, and now my attacks could actually damage him. I still had to keep my guard up and dodge a spear attack, but even his shield couldn't stop my vibranium claws this time. After several hits, he finally went down and dropped a skeleton key. A skeleton key? Was this thing made from the skull of the guy I had just defeated? Gross. This would probably come in handy later though, so I made sure to take it with me. My journey continued on, and soon I made it out of the desert to a wasteland. I'd have time to explore it soon, but for now, I decided to get back to my base, but not in the way you might be thinking. On days 23 to 26, I decided I didn't want to have to cross through the desert again in case I ever wanted to come back here, so I decided to build a massive tunnel back to my base. I dug down a little ways and then started tunneling in the direction of my base, placing torches as I went. It took a long time, but eventually I got to where I thought my base should be and tunneled up out of the ground. I popped up right in front of my base. How's that for good luck? When I got to the door of my base though, I saw there was a package waiting for me with a note attached to it. This must be from the water elemental. I could tell because it was all wet. The note read,
"Dear Zozo, you're doing great. I knew you could defeat the Skull Guardian. Included are some potions that should make your journey easier. P.S. If you're liking the video, make sure you search for other Zozo videos at ZOZO to see more adventures he's been on."
Yep, definitely weird, but when I opened the package, I saw it was full of experience potions. Nice! I drank the potions and felt myself starting to change. I grew bigger and had more hearts too. On days 27 to 31, I upgraded my base to look a little nicer, since Black Panther is a king after all. I started a statue outside too, something that I knew would inspire me every time I came back to my base. I know it's only the very start, but can you tell what it is yet? Next, I laid down some track in the tunnel so I could quickly get back to the wasteland using a minecart. When my minecart ride was over, I exited the tunnel and took a look around the wasteland to see if I could find any sign of the Overlord's lair. That's when I noticed a small village hidden among the rocky hills of the wasteland. The villagers there said they'd been attacked by zombies, and some of them had even gotten turned into zombies.
Our iron golem is supposed to protect the village, but it's been broken for a long time.
Don't worry, I have an idea for how to fix it.
You're the best.
On days 32 to 35, I gathered more vibranium from the mines at my base so I could use it to upgrade the village's iron golem. It would be 4 times as strong as an iron golem would be, so the villagers would have nothing to worry about from invading monsters. I was really starting to get creative at using vibranium in my creations, and I soon realized that the material had another special ability I could use to improve my base's defenses. Vibranium could generate force fields, and with a little bit of tinkering, I was able to make a force field dome around the whole base. Let's see those zombie animals try to get inside now. On days 36 to 39, I returned to the Wasteland Village and used the vibranium to upgrade their iron golem. Now they had their very own vibranium golem.
Hooray! You saved our village!
It sure does feel good to be the good guy. Now I could ask them to help me in my quest. I'm looking for the evil overlord who has been making zombies. Do you know where I can find him?
No one here knows. You should go speak to the shaman of the mountains.
Thanks. On days 40 to 43, I trekked up the snowy mountains and found the lair of the shaman. It was guarded by a friendly snow golem. They didn't bother me, probably because they knew what a hero I was. Inside of a long wooden house was the shaman. They had so many magical potions on their shelves, including ones I had never seen.
So, you must be the one I've been hearing about. I've got an idea for something that might be able to help you in your quest.
I'm all ears.
I'm working on a potion that can turn zombies back into normal animals and people, but I need magic flowers from the jungle in order to complete the recipe.
You can count on me, shaman. On days 44 to 49, I headed deep into the jungle in search of the flowers the shaman needed. Eventually, I saw it, the hill shaped like a skull where the flowers were supposed to be. I fought my way up the hill. Eventually, I got to the top. Phew, that was a tough climb even without a bunch of mutants. No wonder the shaman needed someone to get these for him. And then I saw them. At the very top of the hill, inside the skull, were the flowers. I ran up to the flowers and tried to pick them up, but they were stuck. I couldn't pick them. That's when I realized they weren't stuck to the ground. They were actually part of a giant plant monster. The giant plant monster rose out of the ground, the flower still on top of his head. I don't suppose you'd let me have some of your flowers. But the plant monster didn't want to talk. It wanted to fight. It was a tough enemy. I had to avoid its poisonous plant breath attack and be careful not to get punched by it. It hit super hard, but eventually I took it down and it left one of its flowers as loot. Awesome. Now I can leave this crazy place. On days 50 to 53, I returned to the shaman. I invited them to come stay at my base while they finished the potion. When we got there, I built an area for the shaman to stay and work, complete with a nice big cauldron for magical potions.
Just a bit more fine-tuning and my anti-zombie potion will be complete. Thanks again for getting those flowers.
You're welcome. You could have mentioned the giant poisonous plant monster, but really, I'm just glad to have helped.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Here, take this as an apology.
The shaman tossed something at me. When I picked it up, I realized it gave me a new recipe. It was an upgrade ability for my suit that allowed me to build in some of the vibranium force field tech. Now when the enemies tried to hit me, I could blast them away. Now that's what I call a powerful ability. On days 54 to 57, the shaman and I went into the grasslands and tested the potion on some of the zombie animals. Wow, it actually works! We started turning animals back, one by one, until we got almost all the animals in the grasslands.
We've got plenty of more where that came from back at the base.
I didn't know what I'd do without the shaman.
Watch out!
Suddenly, the shaman pushed me aside. I was about to ask why when a giant beam of pure evil power shot down from above, and in seconds, the shaman was gone. Oh no, that must have been the overlord. He must have been aiming for me. I started to run, zigging and zagging as beams shot down from above. I kept running until I saw a cave and jumped in, just before a beam could hit me. On days 58 to 62, I waited in the cave until I didn't hear any more powerful beams outside. But what I did hear was something deeper in the cave. I turned around to see a spider leaping at me. Time to try out my new force field ability. I blasted him. Looks like it works just fine. I practiced with my new force field ability some more, and when I was sure I had the hang of it, I finally defeated the spider. With the spider defeated, I remembered the shaman and how quickly the overlord's attack had appeared. How was I ever going to defeat him? It didn't matter. I had to figure out a way, since that's what superheroes do. I knew there was still a lot of anti-zombie potion left, so at least the shaman's sacrifice was not in vain. Soon, this land would be safe from zombies. I would make sure of it. On days 63 to 66, I snuck out of the cave and went back to my base, where I gathered up all the anti-zombie potions the shaman had made. Before I left, I wanted to do some work on my statue. I needed something to cheer me up after all that had happened, and I knew a great statue like this would encourage me every time I saw it. So what about now? Can you tell what I'm making yet? I took anti-zombie potions back to the wasteland, and every time I encountered a group of zombies, I used the potions on them to turn them back into villagers. Then I sent them to go live at the village, protected by the vibranium golem. The villagers were happy to see so many people get changed back and sent me a letter to say thank you.
Keep it up. We've got more villagers now than ever before. Our little village keeps growing, just like your number of subscribers. And we hope everyone watching joins your village of subscribers too.
Oh, thanks guys. On days 67 to 70, while exploring the wasteland and saving more villagers from their zombified fate, I finally saw something far off in the distance. It was the evil lair that the panther spirit and the river spirit had told me about. I was sure that the overlord was in there. I could feel it, but it wasn't going to be easy getting to it since I could see that between me and the base was an enormous chasm. It looks like it went all the way around the base with no clear way to get across. I didn't have much time to think about it though, because suddenly I was attacked by a group of zombie apes. You guys again? Haven't you had enough of being zombies? I went to throw an anti-zombie potion at them when I realized I was all out. Oh no! no! I didn't want to fight them, but I was surrounded. It didn't look like I'd have much of a choice. With no way to turn them back to normal apes, I had to deal with them the old-fashioned way, with my claws. There were a lot of undead apes, but I was able to put all my skills and abilities to use, dodging their attacks and rushing in to land my own. Finally, the last of them had been taken care of. Phew, sorry about that, guys. I promise to make sure I have a full stack of anti-zombie potions next time. I could still see the Overlord's base far off in the distance. It was far enough away that it would probably take me a while to reach it, and then I'd have to deal with that huge chasm. I had a plan for that though, but first, I'd need to return to my base. On day 71 to 74, I built my coolest vibranium invention yet, an aircraft with vibranium-powered levitation devices built into the wings. The only thing scarier than a Black Panther is a flying Black Panther. With my new aircraft, I'd be able to fly right over that giant chasm and drop in right on top of the Overlord. Before taking it out to the wasteland though, I decided I should practice around my own base. Alright, here we go. The first test flight of the Wakanda 1 aircraft. It worked! The aircraft lifted into the sky. The Overlord would never know what hit him. I practiced flying around, doing circles around my base, gradually getting further and further away as I got more comfortable. Whoa! I was still getting used to the controls though, and almost crashed into a river. Luckily, I was able to pull up at the last moment, and before long, I had the controls down and the aircraft was soaring like a bird. On days 75 to 78, I flew the vibranium aircraft to the Overlord's lair, passing right over the giant chasm. Wow, from up here, it looks like it doesn't even have a bottom. Good thing I didn't try to cross it on foot. Before I left my base, I had made sure to fill the cargo hold with plenty of anti-zombie potions. Time to save this land from tyranny. From high in the air, I could see a group of zombie apes in the lair's courtyard. I decided to drop a bunch of potions down at them from the airship, turning them back into normal gorillas. I kept raining down potions wherever I saw undead, and soon everything was back to normal. There was only one thing left to do. I landed the aircraft on the roof, which I thought should give me direct access to the Overlord's throne room. I stepped inside the throne room and saw that I was right. There was the Overlord waiting for me.
You dare interfere with my plans? I will make you a zombie next, and then everyone and everything you know will become my zombies.
He swung his weapon at me, but my suit's armor was strong enough to keep the damage low. I blasted him back with my force field and then used my vibranium claws to land a couple good hits.
You cannot defeat me. I am the Overlord.
Watch me. Swung my hardest and knocked him down with my claws. Strangely though, he just started laughing. He started to glow and rise into the air.
You fool. All you've accomplished is releasing me from my zombie body, and soon I will be the mightiest being in the world.
Uh-oh, I may have really messed up here. The Overlord, now a super powerful evil spirit, vanished. It looks like I had just released an even greater bad guy. On days 79 to 84, I used my aircraft to return to the River Spirit. I wanted to see if I could get any answers on how to defeat the Overlord's new spirit form.
Well, the good news is he can't go back into his body now that he's a spirit.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is only full spirits can fight other spirits, and I'm not strong enough alone. Perhaps I could. No, it's impossible.
What? What's your idea?
Well, there is one thing that might work. I'm able to impart some of my river powers on others, but it's far too dangerous. You're not nearly strong enough to survive it.
But if I was able to handle you giving me some of your river powers, could that turn the tide?
Maybe, but you'll need to become much stronger both in body and mind if you want to withstand my powers.
I had to stop the Overlord, and this seemed like the only way, so there was only one thing for me to do: get stronger. It was time to start training. On days 85 to 89, I returned to my base and built some new areas where I could start training my body and mind. For physical strength, I built a dojo near the Panther Spirit's tree, complete with dummies that I could practice my attacks on. I had an even better idea for how to make my mind stronger, but to make it a reality first, I had to finish my statue. I completed my statue and stood back to look at it. I thought it looked great and felt mentally stronger just from gazing at the powerful panther emerging from the mountain. But it still needed one more thing. I decided to build a meditation spot right under its mouth, somewhere that I could focus and strengthen my mind. After training both in body and mind, I returned to the River Spirit, but he quickly sent me away, telling me I wasn't nearly strong enough yet. I returned to my base again to train, and this time the Panther Spirit himself appeared in my dojo. He told me that he trained with me so I could get better at fighting even quicker. I had an idea for how to improve my meditation training too. I went back to the statue and made it so that the water would pour out of its mouth, creating a waterfall. I then built an area right where the water hit the ground where I could sit in the rushing water and meditate, learning how to focus even with powerful forces raging all around me. As I sat in the rushing water, thinking about my fighting training, I suddenly felt myself start to change. I grew in size and gained more hearts. Surely now I must be strong enough to handle the River Spirit's power. I returned to the river and met with the spirit again. This time, there was no doubt.
You're ready now. I will give you my powers.
The River Spirit combined with mine, and I felt his power within me. I felt stronger, like my attacks would do more damage since they were infused with water power. And I now had the ability to create water anywhere too. Look out, evil spirit. A hero is on his way to take you down. On days 90 to 94, I returned to my base to get my aircraft when a wasteland villager suddenly appeared. He told me that the evil spirit had sent an army of zombie piglins to invade their village, and they needed help. I hopped into my aircraft and flew to the village as fast as I could. When I got there, I saw that the villager was right. There were zombie piglins everywhere. The village was on fire, and villagers were trying to escape. The vibranium golem was fighting off as many piglins as he could, but there were simply too many for him to handle alone. I fought what seemed like 100 little oinkers, using my new water ability to blast them. Eventually, we beat the last one, but the village had been almost completely destroyed. Villagers who had escaped were badly shaken and afraid. My base was big enough now that I was able to invite all the surviving villagers to stay there permanently. All of the villagers agreed to come, even the vibranium golem. On days 95 to 97, I took the villagers down to my train tunnel and built even more minecarts for them to start going to my base. I flew my aircraft back to the base so I could get it ready for them. I built enough houses for everyone in the same style as their village, and even built farms that looked exactly like their old home. The vibranium golem seemed happy too. He agreed to keep patrolling the new area and defend the villagers if any threats appeared. Just as I was finishing up the last house, I heard the voice of the panther spirit calling to me. I went back to his ancient tree once again.
The evil spirit is waiting for you at the end of the river. It knows you teamed up with the river and thinks if it can destroy the river, it can destroy you too.
Don't worry, I've got this. Together, the river and I are invincible.
Go to the river delta, where the river meets the sea, and there you shall find the evil spirit.
But before I left, he told me that there was one more thing he could do to help me. The panther spirit leapt towards me and absorbed into my body. I felt myself start to change, and I suddenly grew into a huge, superpowered black panther. I had a ton of hearts and felt more powerful than ever. Now, filled with the power of both the river and the panther, I embarked on what I hoped would be the quest that saved this land for good. On day 98, I was making my way downriver towards the ocean when I saw the shaman appear in front of me in ghostly form.
Hello there.
Shaman, you're a spirit now too.
Yes, before that ray of evil could kill me, I used my magic to become a spirit. I've been watching your progress, and you've been doing an amazing job. I think you could use some help, though.
I'll take any help I can get. What I could really use now is some moral support.
I can definitely give you that, but it would be even more powerful if everyone watching the video did too, by giving a like and subscribing. The more likes and sub you have, the stronger you'll be when you face the evil spirit.
Wow, thanks, Shaman. I hope everyone likes and subscribes so that I'll be really powerful. And if you like the video, make sure to type Zozo, Z-O-Z-O, in the search bar to see my other adventures. There's a whole bunch of them.
I will do that.
Well, I didn't think you had YouTube, but okay, cool. On day 99, I made it to the river delta. A vast ocean stretched out into the horizon before me. Come out, evil spirit, it's me, and I've got the river spirit to help me. I used my spirit powers to walk on the water, and soon I was standing in the middle of this great sea. A dark shadow rose up from below, breaking through the surface of the water. It was the evil spirit.
You're too late. I will soon eat the river and become even stronger. Then I turn anything that drinks from the river into one of my undead servants.
We will never let this happen. I used my water powers to hit the evil spirit, then I ran in and started clawing him.
Oh, that does it.
The evil spirit called down his beam of destruction, the same one he used on the shaman, but I was ready this time. There was no way he could win. Not after everything I went through. Not after I came this far. As we battled, I suddenly saw other beams of energy. I looked to my sides and saw the panther, the river, and the shaman spirit standing next to me, adding their energy into mine. My combined spirit beam grew bigger and stronger, and in moments, the evil spirit's power had run out, and he was blasted by the beam.
Impossible. No!
I rushed in, and with one final blow from my spirit claws, I put an end to his reign of evil for good. On day 100, I returned to the base and built myself a royal chamber suitable for a Wakandan king. The land may have been saved this time, but somebody would need to remain and be its protector. And from now on, that would be me. On day 1, I spawned in as the Grinch. Wow, look at that. I'm the Grinch, ready to steal Christmas. Oh no, I only have 3 hearts. I guess it's true what the story says. The Grinch's heart is way too small. I was so focused on my hearts, I didn't hear the huge group of bad snowmen creeping up on me. They blended in with the snow at first, but I heard them just before their leader grabbed me. Hey, what's the big idea? I know I'm the Grinch, but that's no reason to be so mean.
Come with us, and no one gets hurt.
Forget that. I've got to steal Christmas. I don't have time to deal with you. I pulled away from the leader and started to run away. Luckily, I was faster than the bad snowmen and was able to run past them.
Hey, get back here!
No way! As I ran away from the bad snowmen, I started thinking about what I knew about the Grinch. If I was going to be him, I wanted to get it right. I knew he was a mean one who couldn't stand the Who's or their Christmas celebrations, who wanted to take all the presents and food for himself. But wait, the Grinch doesn't work alone. He has his trusty dog Max, his only friend in the whole world. I looked around for a dog, but couldn't see one anywhere. Oh no, what happened to Max? How can I steal Christmas without him? I was about to start searching the ice caves for my dog when an ice cave spider crawled out of the cave and bit me. Ouch! I could feel that the bite had poisoned me, and I had to think fast to counter the effect. I ran and ran and ran until I found a village, and there was a pen full of cows. Perfect. Excuse me, Miss Cow. Can I have some of your milk?
Sure, fine by me.
I was able to get a milk bucket and cure the poison before I got too sick. But before I could look for any other supplies, a farmer came into the pen.
Eek! Get out of here, you! Stop trying to ruin our holiday fun!
You didn't have to tell me twice. I made my way back toward the caves, and after making sure there weren't any more spiders waiting for me, I crawled into one to rest. I found some logs, sticks, and charcoal, and crafted and placed a campfire to get warm. As I settled in, I thought about Max the dog again. What's the point of stealing Christmas without my best friend? I have to find him and get him back so we can pull off the holiday heist of the century. On day 2, I woke up and went out of the cave. I made it through the first day, but if I was going to keep surviving, I needed to find a safe place to hide out. But I didn't want to stay somewhere that the bad snowmen might come looking for me again. I decided that, whether they liked it or not, I should camp out closer to that village. That way, I'd have lots of people who would also see the snowmen coming. But I couldn't set up right in the village either. If I was too close, people like that farmer might get mad and chase me out of town. Then I'd have to start all over. I decided to have a look around and see what was right by the village. It turned out that there was a mountain right next to the village, and from the top of the mountain, I could see the villagers down below. Perfect! Not too close, but not too far, and not out by those dangerous snowy caves where the snowmen found me before. This is it. This is where I'll build my base. But before I could build it, I needed some tools. I made myself a crafting table and crafted a wooden pickaxe. Next, I took that pickaxe and mined some stones. Awesome! Now I can make stone tools. I made a pickaxe, an axe, a shovel, and a sword. Then I got to work gathering some more wood so I could build my base. All the way up here, on the edge of a cliff, it was going to be kind of tricky to build, but I knew I could do it. While I was working, I saw a figure approaching me. It looked like a villager. I'm just building a base. I'm not here to steal from you. But as they got closer, I realized it was a pillager instead, and he shot an arrow at me. Oh, no you don't. I drew my sword and managed to fight him off. Then I chased him away from my base for good measure. As I was walking back to my base, I saw that someone had dropped some cookies and left a chest in the middle of the forest. The chest had a bunch of supplies in it. These aren't mine. It would be selfish to take them. But I am the Grinch after all. It started to get dark and began to snow, so I settled in for a good night's rest. I'll get even more done tomorrow. On day 3, I woke up knowing that I needed to get more supplies. I looked all over the mountain, but I couldn't find anything useful. So I decided to sneak back down into the nearby village instead. If the villagers are going to treat me like a criminal because I'm the Grinch, then I guess I'd better start stealing. I decided to go to a different village than the one right below my base, just in case they caught me and chased me back home. Instead, I went to the next village over and started sneaking through town looking for supplies to snatch. But as I entered the village, I heard someone scream.
Help!
I did see something though, a horde of zombies attacking the village. No wonder someone was screaming. Get back, undead creeps! I drew my sword and started swinging, fighting off the green ghouls. A little girl appeared on top of a nearby building, holding a bow and arrow. She started firing arrows at the zombies, and between her arrows and my sword, we drove all of those nasty undead back out of town. She came to greet me. Thanks for the help.
Sure. My name is Cindy Lou Who. What's yours?
Zozo, but you can call me Mr. Grinch. Say, have you seen any bad snowmen around here, or just these zombies?
The snowmen came yesterday. They took a whole bunch of people with them. My family, too. I don't know who they're working for, but they keep kidnapping people and destroying our town.
That must have been what happened to her parents. Come back to my base with me. We can hide out and stay safe while we figure out who those bad snowmen are working for. On days 4 to 5, Cindy and I worked on the base together. We demolished the previous starter house I made and built a bigger house. I even added a loft where Cindy could live. But it still wasn't completely finished. We needed to strengthen our security to keep safe, just in case the snowmen came back, or something else found us. And whoever was ordering them around, the big bad who took Max, was probably way tougher than them.
I'm getting pretty hungry. Could we look for some food?
Great idea. Me too. I think I saw some apple trees down this way. Help me pick some. I've got some other supplies we can use to make a pie.
I love pie.
Who doesn't? Cindy and I found a whole bunch of apple trees and started picking the fruit to take back to our base. As we were gathering apples, we suddenly heard a howl. What was that? Cindy and I both looked around and saw a pack of feral wolves closing in around us. Cindy was so much more defenseless than me, I couldn't let the wolves get to her. Quick, Cindy, climb this tree and get to safety. I'll handle these wolves.
I can use my bow and arrows from up there too.
Cindy climbed up out of reach and started firing arrows at the wolves. I helped out with my sword from down on the ground, and together we were able to defeat the wolves. As Cindy climbed back down from the tree, I noticed something shiny on the ground. A bottle. One of the wolves must have been carrying this in its mouth. It's a potion of healing. Sweet. I grabbed it, and together Cindy and I took all of our apples back to the base.
We're going to need to find a way to keep danger away from our base. I think I might have an idea. But first, let's eat.
On days 6 to 8, Cindy and I started to get really hungry again. We can't live on apples forever. We need to find another food source.
Oh, I know what we can do. We had cows and chickens back in my village. No one's using them right now. We should go get them.
Oh, great. Let's make some pens for them first. We worked together to build the pens, 2 for the chickens and a big one for the cows. We even added a small farm to feed the animals. Then, we headed back down to Cindy's village to round up the animals. As we were working hard to herd the animals in the right direction, which was much more difficult than I expected, I heard a voice yelling at us.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, but you're no match for me. Better come willingly if you ever want to see your dog Max again.
What? Who's talking about my best friend Max? I looked up, but I couldn't see anyone. I could just hear them.
Wait, look!
Cindy pointed, and I saw a huge Jabberwock looking down at us from the top of a tall tree. You took Max?
My friends call me Steve, and my enemies call me Evil Steve. I took your little dog, and Cindy's parents too. And I won't stop there. You think you can steal Christmas? Try doing that when there is no one left to celebrate it. I'm taking them all, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Next, I'll take you too.
The Jabberwock jumped down from the tree and landed hard in front of us. The force from his blow knocked my sword right out of my hand. Oh no, what should I do? This isn't the kind of reindeer I thought I'd be meeting as the Grinch. I ran after the sword, and Cindy followed me. Evil Steve just stood there laughing, and we knew we weren't strong enough to beat him. Not yet. I grabbed my sword, and we ran back to the base. Evil Steve didn't chase us, but we knew it wasn't the last we'd seen of him. Next time, we'd have to make sure we were ready, so we could defeat him and set everyone free. Maybe I can be the Grinch who saved Christmas instead. On days 9 to 10, Cindy could tell I was getting discouraged. I was feeling pretty scared after our encounter with Evil Steve, and pretty worried that I wouldn't be able to get Max back.
It'll be okay, Zozo. I think if we work hard, we can get strong enough to beat him, to rescue Max and my parents and everyone else.
How? He's so big, and we're so small.
I know you don't think you can be a hero like this, but you helped me with the zombies, and again with the wolves. Together, we can do anything. Tell me more about Max. You'd do anything to get him back, right?
Well, he's the most loyal dog in the world. No matter what, he sticks by my side and helps me with whatever I want to do. He was even willing to be a reindeer and pull my sleigh to steal Christmas, even though he's so small and the sleigh would be so big. I just wish I'd told him thank you more before he was missing.
I have an idea I think might help cheer you up. Let's build a statue of Max together to show him how much you appreciate him and to welcome him to the base.
We talked it out near a forest and decided to clear out an area to make room for the statue. After that was done, we started construction on the Max statue. We worked all day, and by the time we were finished, we had the bed Max would sit on, only much bigger. We're off to a great start.
We are, but it's starting to get dark. I think we should build some torches to keep any enemies from coming up to the base while we're sleeping. That was my idea from before. I almost forgot in all of the excitement.
Great idea. I don't know what I'd do without you, Cindy. I proceeded to quickly craft some torches and place them around the base. On the night of day 11, I had the strangest dream. I saw a very little reindeer grazing by a stream with a herd of other reindeer. As he ate the grass, an evil wizard approached the herd of reindeer.
Hello, little reindeer. Nice stream you've got here. It's a shame it's in the way of where I'm going to put my castle. You all need to leave, or perish.
But this is our home.
Too bad. Get out of here, or I'll make you go.
The reindeer were terrified and confused. They didn't want to leave.
Please, put your castle somewhere else. It's Christmas. Where are we supposed to go?
No, and I don't care. I need my castle here for my grand Christmas party, and none of you are invited. For your insolence, I will turn you all into frogs.
And the wizard cast an evil spell, transforming every reindeer in sight into frogs. But the littlest reindeer ran away before he could be cursed too. He ran and ran and ran to a nearby village.
Please, help me. An evil wizard turned my family into frogs.
But none of the villagers would listen to him. They closed their doors and locked him out. He cried and wandered into the forest, looking for a way to become strong enough to go back and defeat the evil wizard. He came across a deep dark cave and found a podium. A sign next to it said, "Drink this to become stronger than your enemies." There was a bottle of dark purple potion. The little reindeer drank the entire bottle. Then he transformed into a great, big Jabberwock. He ran back to the evil wizard, who had now built his castle in the reindeer's old home.
Remember me?
He defeated the evil wizard and made him run out of the castle, taking it for himself.
But I'm still not happy. I can never forgive the villagers for leaving me alone to face this evil force. I will never forgive them. Somehow, I will find a way to get my revenge.
And then I woke up. I couldn't explain why, but somehow I knew that what I had seen was real. I told Cindy all about it, and she agreed. On days 13 to 15, I went back to Cindy's village to get some more animals and herd them back to our base. The chickens Cindy got seemed pretty lonely, and we were both getting really hungry. So I herded some chickens and cows back to the base. Then I went back to the village again for some sheep and pigs. Here, piggies. Here, sheep. But the animals started running away, like they were scared of something. I looked up, and there were those zombies again. There were even more of them than before, and this time I didn't have Cindy and her bow and arrow to help me out. But I stood my ground instead of running away. I pulled out my sword to face them. Come and get it, zombies! As they approached, I took them down one by one. I don't have time for this. I have to help my friend, get back her parents, and rescue my dog. Get out of this village, now! As I defeated the zombies, I felt a surge of bravery and strength coursing through my veins, and I felt my heart grow in size. I gained 2 hearts too. As I looked down at my GRINCH fingers, I noticed that they had gotten long, pointier, and claw-like. This made my attacks even faster. I'll be able to defeat Evil Steve in no time. I can't wait to show Cindy. On days 16 to 19, I brought the sheep and pigs back to the base, and I showed Cindy my new fighting skill.
That's amazing!
Now I just need to find some materials to upgrade our weapons. Then we can really make some progress.
I'll get the animals settled, and you can start mining.
With our plan sorted out, I started digging into a cave system and mining for materials. I found some iron. Nice! Now I can make iron tools. As I was gathering the iron, I spotted a little bunny. Aw, hi bunny. But as I got closer, I realized that this was no ordinary bunny. It had red eyes and was coming at me fast. It was a killer bunny. Oh geez, not now. Well, I guess it's time to test out my new abilities. The killer bunny leapt at me and attacked, but I was ready for it. I was here to steal Christmas, but I guess I can take on Easter too. I fought back, blocking the bunny and sending it flying back a few steps. It came at me again, but I swung my new long fingers and knocked it away. With a bit of time to gather myself, I pulled out my sword and slashed it back and forth until the killer bunny got scared and ran out of the mine and off into the woods. Hop along now, little bunny. Go pick on someone a little less awesome. Now, let me grab this iron. I took the iron back to my base, smelted it, and made a full set of iron armor and tools for me and Cindy. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to the sound of Cindy calling for me.
Zozo, Mr. Grinch, we need to get ready. Are you here?
I'm up. What's going on? I ran outside to see Cindy standing with an old man I hadn't seen before.
Mr. Zozo Grinch, Evil Steve is on his way here right now.
How do you know that?
Because I just managed to escape from his castle, and I wanted to get back and find my granddaughter. I'm afraid I must have led him right to you.
Wait, are you Cindy's grandfather?
I am, but we don't have time for proper introductions. You need to get ready. I will do my best to help you fight him off, but I'm not a very strong fighter.
If he's headed this way, then I'll meet him before he gets to the base. There's no time to waste. I grabbed my new iron sword and pulled on my brand new armor. I ran ahead, following the sound of Evil Steve's big, booming footsteps. There you are. I'm stronger than I was before. I'm not scared of you.
You should be. You think a little more training and a simple iron sword will be enough? You're a fool. You're a bad banana with a greasy peel.
Taking innocent dogs and villagers won't make up for what that wizard did to your family. Can't you find someone to turn them back into reindeer and just leave everyone else alone?
It's too late for that. There will be no stopping me. I'm going to take all of the villagers from every village around here, throw them in my dungeon, then go through their homes and take all of their food and holiday presents for myself. None of them deserve to celebrate.
So, you're trying to steal Christmas? That's my thing. Before I could say anything else, he was swiping at me with those big Jabberwock claws. But my armor protected me, and I fought back with my new sword. He dodged, but I got a few good hits in too.
This is a waste of time. You haven't seen the last of me.
and he disappeared back into the trees. Sure, I didn't defeat him, and I didn't have Max back yet, but I could tell he was a little bit scared this time. He may have been big and bad, but with some more time and training, I could be even better. On days 23 to 26, Cindy and I returned to our abandoned village to look for materials that might help us defeat Evil Steve. Anything he could have left behind, or any extra supplies that might help us upgrade our weapons, our armor, or our base. While we were searching an empty house, I found a crossbow. Wow, this will really come in handy if I need to do some ranged attacks. And look, here are some fireworks to use as ammunition. That's some real firepower.
What's this over here?
Cindy was standing by a bookshelf where one of the books had fallen onto the ground. I picked it up and read it. If you are liking the video so far, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what adventure you think we should go on next. Weird, must be some kind of secret code or something. Let's keep looking. On days 27 to 31, Cindy and I went back to the base, and I started doing more work on the statue of Max. After that fight with Evil Steve, and the exhausting search for more supplies, I needed something to get my spirits up. This looks pretty good so far, but I think it's missing something. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. We need some oak planks to make this really perfect. There's some down by the beach.
Great, you keep working here, and I'll go to the beach. I made the journey to the beach based on Cindy's directions. But when I got there and started looking for oak trees, a tarantula crawled out of its home and attacked me. Hey, whoa, I'm just here for some oak trees. I don't want any trouble. But the tarantula didn't listen to me and just kept attacking. It bit me. Ow, stop it, that hurts. Let me get the oak logs and I'll be out of your way. It bit me again and I started getting pretty mad. Okay, if that's how you want to do this. I grabbed my iron sword and slashed at the tarantula, knocking it away before it could bite me again. It skittered away, leaving me alone once and for all. Finally, now let's see about that oak tree. I gathered all the blocks I needed for the statue and headed back to the base to help Cindy keep building. On days 32 to 35, I was heading back to my base when suddenly I saw a moose charging right at me, its antlers lowered to strike. Hey, I'm just walking here. I dove out of the way, but the moose just turned around and started to charge me again. What did I ever do to you? This time, I climbed a tree and pulled out my new crossbow. I shot a firework toward the moose, and when it exploded, it scared the moose so badly it jumped up into the air. Then it ran away without another look.
Wow, that was impressive.
Who said that? I looked around but couldn't see anyone.
Down here.
Below the tree, poking out of a hole, was a mouse.
Say, if you're a big mighty hero, would you help me with something?
What is it?
This awful Jabberwock stole a present I got from my mother. Could you help me get it back?
I'm trying to defeat him anyway. Where is it?
I heard he has a bunch of his stolen loot stashed on an island nearby in a treasure chest. He keeps it there until it's time to bring it all to his castle.
Don't worry, I'll get the present back. On days 36 to 39, I traveled to the island that the mouse had told me about. I used a raft to get across the water, and thankfully nothing attacked me on the way. When I finally made it to the island, I could see the treasure chest, but I could also see something else. There were soul vultures above the treasure chest, guarding it from anyone looking to take it. Oh no, what should I do about them? There's no way I can get the present back if they're up there waiting for me. What can I do? Should I try to use my crossbow to fight them off? Or should I try to sneak onto the island and use my long GRINCH fingers to grab the treasure chest without them noticing? There are a lot of them. I think I'd rather do the second one if I can. But I'll bring my weapons, just in case. On days 40 to 43, I hopped off my raft and got up onto the island without the soul vultures seeing me. I tiptoed onto the sand as carefully and quietly as I could and crawled along the ground toward the treasure chest. I stretched my fingers and grabbed the items from the treasure chest. Success! The soul vultures were still above me and hadn't seen a thing.
Psst, excuse me.
I turned and saw a mouse in a little cage behind me.
The key to this cage was in that treasure chest. Could you help me out?
Yes, but we will have to move fast. I pulled the key out, then unlocked the cage and released the mouse.
No, thank you so much.
Quick, let's get out of here. I went back to the raft, and the mouse followed me as well. The soul vultures finally realized what had happened, but we were long gone and paddling back across the water. And for some reason, the crabs started dancing as if they were happy for the soul vultures' misfortune. I brought the contents of the treasure chest back to the first mouse I met.
Amazing, thank you. Now I can give my mother her hat.
Oh, and you can keep all the pies I made in exchange for saving me.
Yum, thank you. I know the Grinch is supposed to be mean, but sometimes being nice can be pretty sweet. On days 44 to 49, I made it back to the base. I finally gave Cindy the oak logs, and she helped me add it to the next part of the statue.
It's really starting to look like Max. I think this will be a great present. Next, we built some guard towers for the base. Now that Evil Steve knew where to find us, we had to be sure to be extra careful. With these new towers, if he tries to come back and mess with us, he won't know what hit him. On days 50 to 53, Evil Steve struck again when we were least expecting it.
We meet again, Zozo. Aren't you happy to see me? I see that you've been accepting guests lately. Got any room for me and my friends, the stone monsters?
Oh no, it looks like he really does have an army of stone monsters. My crossbow bolts will probably bounce right off of them. Cindy Lou, take your grandpa and hide in the base. It's too dangerous for you to be out here.
But Zozo.
Just go. It's okay. I can handle myself. Cindy and her grandpa ran back to the base. I had to buy them some time.
Either you let us in, or we'll bring you and your friends back to my castle. We have plenty of room for our new guests.
We're staying exactly where we are, Evil Steve. You really think you're better at stealing than the Grinch?
No, but I'm better at kidnapping. Get 'em, boys.
That's when the stone monsters came at me. I'm so glad I made those iron weapons and tools, or I would have never stood a chance. They came at me one by one, and I struck at them with my sword until they were either knocked down or ran away. But wait, where's Evil Steve?
Zozo, help me.
Cindy Lou, I'm on my way. I ran inside and found Cindy Lou crying. She seemed really upset.
Zozo, Evil Steve came in here. He took my grandpa. I don't know what to do.
It's okay, Cindy. We'll get him back, no matter what. I went outside of the base, and that's when the last few stone monsters attacked. They'd just been a distraction, while Evil Steve kidnapped Cindy Lou's grandpa. I defeated the last few stone monsters with my sword, and I got another upgrade. I worked my way up to 7 hearts and got a new skill, Grinch Sneak. Because the Grinch is so good at sneaking around, I'll be able to sneak into places without being found. You'll never see me coming, Evil Steve. On days 54 to 57, I decided our base needed better security. We don't want any repeats of last time. And it made sense. After all, the Grinch doesn't like visitors. For my security system, I decided to go classic, a massive fence. But it's not like Evil Steve would be afraid of a little fence. I needed to get serious. That's why I added more guard towers. Now that's a Grinchy security system. After that, I decided I needed a little more information about what Evil Steve was planning. If I was going to steal back Cindy Lou's grandpa, I couldn't go in unprepared. That's why I went back to the plains to talk to the mouse I helped out earlier. Hey, Mr. Mouse, Evil Steve kidnapped my friend's grandpa and my dog Max. I want to help get them back, along with all other kidnapped people. Do you have any idea what he's planning?
Well, I've always tried to avoid Evil Steve myself, with him being evil and all, but I know every year he hosts a big Christmas party, and he makes all his prisoners go, whether they want to or not. If you're planning on sneaking in, that'll probably be the best time.
Now there's an idea. Maybe stealing Evil Steve's Christmas wouldn't be such a bad thing. On days 58 to 62, I decided it was time to upgrade my armor. Iron was fine and all, but for going after the big boss, I needed something serious. That's right, it's time for the Grinch to get his long, Grinchy hands on some diamond armor and weapons. But getting your hands on diamond armor isn't easy. I found a huge dark cave and decided to explore it, but eventually I got to a dead end. Well, I guess sometimes the only way to go is down. I started mining deep into the ground with my iron pickaxe. That's when I discovered an even deeper part of the cave, where lava was flowing. But hey look, there's a diamond deposit. You know what they say, diamonds are Grinch's best friend. At least, I think that's the expression. The last thing I expected was for this cave to be haunted. A ghost ancient warrior popped out of the wall and started attacking me. I'm sorry for disturbing your burial grounds. I just wanted some diamonds, I swear. But he didn't listen to reason. He kept attacking me, so I needed to pull out my sword and defend myself. I even fired my crossbow a few times. I've heard of ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, but this is something else. Thankfully, I'm a much stronger fighter than I used to be. I kept fighting back until the ancient warrior ghost disappeared. But he didn't just disappear, he dropped a potion too. Potion of Swiftness. That'll come in handy later. Don't mind if I do. I mined my diamonds and headed back to my base. That's where I made what I'd set out to make. A full set of diamond armor and a sword to match. Merry Christmas to me! On days 63 to 66, I carried on working on the statue of Max. It reminded me of what was most important, getting Max and Cindy Lou's grandpa, and everyone else, back safely for Christmas. But my statue of Max was looking a little sad. It needed something. But what? Oh, I know. Max always loved chasing a ball around. I should add a ball to the statue.
I started making a nice red ball right in front of the statue of Max. It looked as if he was looking at it cheerfully. That's the Max I remember. When I get him back, I'm gonna play ball with him for hours. And if you want hours of fun too, then you should subscribe to Zozo and check out all of our fun Minecraft adventures. I love reading all of your awesome comments too. On days 67 to 70, it was finally time to stage my first rescue mission. The mouse told me that Evil Steve keeps all of his prisoners in his massive castle. If Max and Cindy Lou's grandpa are gonna be going to any Christmas parties this year, it'll be mine. Whoa, look at that castle. It's so creepy. Why would anyone want to go to a Christmas party in there? Uh-oh, looks like he's got some more minions outside. Are those undead warriors? They make zombies look like sweet old grandmas in comparison. Evil Steve doesn't mess around when it comes to home defense. Maybe I should get some of those for my base. But I needed to worry about that later. How can I fight my way in? If I just go in, swords blazing, I might have attracted too much attention. I need to create a distraction. This is where my crossbow came in. I aimed it carefully from a hidden position and fired a bolt at a random corner of the castle walls. That got their attention. Then, I needed to move fast. Lucky for me, I had a potion of swiftness. While the undead warriors were on their way over, I took the potion and then used my Grinch sneak skill to slip right past them and made my way into the castle, right under their nose. Now I'm really living up to my Grinchy reputation. On days 71 to 74, I made my way deeper into Evil Steve's castle. It was somehow even creepier on the inside. After exploring for a bit, I opened a door at the end of the hall, and behind the door was a bunch of undead warriors waiting for me. Guess those undead warriors were way smarter than I gave them credit for. I'm totally surrounded. Do you think we can just talk this out? The undead warriors didn't feel like talking. Actually, I don't even know if they can talk, but they sure can fight. I pulled out my diamond sword and went toe-to-toe with Evil Steve's Undeath Warrior security force. They jumped at me one by one, and every single one of them gave me a run for my money. By the time I'd finally defeated them all, I was exhausted, but I also noticed one of them drop something, an antler headdress. Wow, this suits my style perfectly. I'm gonna look so cool. Not only was the antler headdress a strong fashion statement, it also gave me increased knockbacks on my attacks, an additional half a heart, and healed me when I was in a pinch. But personally, I think the coolest part of it all was that I'd have antlers, just like Evil Steve. I was so obsessed with my cool new hat that I almost didn't notice the giant door at the end of the hall. That looks like the door to the dungeon. Don't worry, everybody, Zozo is coming to save you. On days 75 to 78, I finally broke into the dungeon in Evil Steve's castle. It was huge. I couldn't even count how many villagers he had packed into cells. I even recognized the farmer who'd chased me off from my first day.
Help me, Zozo. You gotta get us all out of here, please.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get you all out of here. But we need to be careful. Evil Steve could be anywhere around here. The farmer dropped a potion of healing, and suddenly I could hear Evil Steve. Oh no!
You're right, Zozo. I could be anywhere.
Of course, he's right behind me. That's the exact kind of luck that the Grinch would have.
You fell right into my trap, Zozo. I bet you're here for your precious little dog, aren't you?
I'm here for everybody, but yes, of course I want Max back.
Then you'll have to go through me, you grinchy little fool.
That's when Evil Steve swiped at me with his huge, curved Jabberwock claws. He was so much stronger and faster than any of his minions. I could see why he runs the show around here. He hit me so hard, I lost a few hearts. That put me in real trouble. But wait, I remember now. I have the healing potion. Bottoms up. Recharged, I pulled out my diamond sword and ran at him. Evil Steve was shocked at how strong I had gotten. That'd teach him to look down on me. I told you I was a mean one, Evil Steve. I bet you believe me now. But I shouldn't have been so confident, because everything was about to get much harder. On days 79 to 84, Evil Steve stopped attacking and seemed like he wanted to talk.
It seems I underestimated you, Zozo, but don't worry. I won't make that mistake again. Bear witness to my true power.
I've beaten all your guys, Evil Steve, and I'll beat you too.
Huh, I wouldn't be so sure.
I could see everyone cowering in their cells, so I knew I was about to see something really, really scary, and Evil Steve didn't disappoint. He grew larger. He barely fit into the room. His claws were almost the size of me. One strike with those, even wearing my diamond armor, I'd be done for. I tried hitting him with my diamond sword, but he didn't even flinch. He started laughing hysterically, as if I had just tickled him.
You thought you could mess with me and get away with it? You thought you could steal my party guest, my Christmas? You made a mistake, Zozo, but don't worry, it's the last mistake you'll ever make.
He jumped forward and swung one of his claws. The might of his claws almost knocked me out,
There was no way I could save anyone from him in this state. I'm so sorry, guys, but I've got to go. He's too powerful. I promise I'll come back for you soon. And as I ran away, all of the villagers were looking at me while Evil Steve laughed. I felt terrible. It was like I had let everyone down. On days 85 to 89, I went back to my base. A failure. I didn't know if I'd ever be strong enough to face Evil Steve. Forget stealing Christmas. There's not even gonna be a Christmas. All thanks to Evil Steve. But that's when Cindy Lou approached me, and she was carrying a book.
It's a multi-shot enchantment book. With this, your crossbow will fire 3 shots at once, so it'll be 3 times as powerful.
But Cindy Lou, don't you get it? I'm not strong enough to beat Evil Steve. It's over. I failed, no matter how cool my crossbow is.
That's not true, Zozo. You're smart and kind, even for a Grinch. And I know you want to get Max and my grandpa and everyone else back. One way or another, you'll figure it out. I believe in you.
And that was exactly what I needed to hear. In that moment, I knew I could save everyone. Maybe I could even save Evil Steve. But there were a few final things I needed to do first. I finished the Max statue, finishing off the antler I tied to the top of his head. He looked exactly like I wanted him to, and I just knew when Max saw the finished statue, he'd be amazed. And then there was one last thing I could do that might give me an advantage against Evil Steve. To defeat him, I needed to talk to the guy who made him the way he was. The Evil Wizard! I found him out next to a frozen lake, living in a beat-up old shack, rather than a big castle. I asked him if he knew anything that might help me stop Evil Steve.
Well, if you want to change his tune, your best bet will be returning him to his original reindeer form.
But how would I do that?
There's a potion of form reversion, but the only one I know about is hidden in the ancient tomb and guarded by the Vex.
Then I guess I'm going to the ancient tomb. On days 90 to 94, under the instructions of the Evil Wizard, I went to the ancient tomb in search of the potion of form reversion. It's so spooky in here, and I wonder what that Vex thing the Evil Wizard mentioned is. And that's when I found out. The Vex flew straight towards me, carrying a spectral sword. He was as fast as he was scary, but thanks to Cindy Lou, I had my special crossbow. A few well-placed shots, and he was down. I guess you weren't so tough after all, Vex. I found the potion of form reversion on a stand at the back of the ancient tomb. Looks like I finally had the secret ingredient to change everything. Hope you're ready for a Christmas you'll never forget, Evil Steve. On days 95 to 97, Cindy Lou helped me make a few final adjustments. We applied the sharpness enchantment to my diamond sword just so it'd pack that extra punch. We also prepared a few extra potions, including the potion of healing and the potion of strength.
I wouldn't want to take you on now, Zozo.
On day 98, it was almost time to finally go and take down Evil Steve for good. But first, I had one more important thing to do. Eat a balanced breakfast. After all, to fight a final battle, you need energy, and you get energy by eating right. Did you know you can also get an energy boost from typing ZOZO on YouTube and finding all of our videos? And be sure to leave a comment telling us what character or creature you'd like to see me play next. I love reading your suggestions. On day 99, it was time for the final battle. I returned to Evil Steve's castle, armed and loaded with every weapon, enchantment, and potion I'd gathered over my time here. Alright, Evil Steve, time for you to find out what I'm really made of. I used my Grinch sneak ability to get back into the castle without being found. Evil Steve never seems to run out of undeath warriors. Hope you guys don't mind if I just slip by without saying hi. I knew my way around since I got in last time, and I used my sneak ability and found my way to the dungeon room immediately. I knew that Evil Steve would be waiting for me, so I quickly drank a strength potion and ran straight into the main room of the dungeon.
You're back, Zozo. Ready to be defeated again?
Not this time, Evil Steve. I'm a whole new Grinch. The time was right. I went through my final upgrade into Super Grinch. My hearts really did grow 3 sizes that day, because now I had 30, as well as being bigger, faster, and stronger than ever before.
You're getting uninvited for my Christmas party for this, Zozo.
That's okay, Evil Steve. You're still invited to mine. And so the fight began. He was fast and strong for sure, but in my current form, we were finally evenly matched. I took my potions of healing and strength, and they kept me fighting fit. It's over, Evil Steve. You can't win this. With a few hits from my diamond sword, Evil Steve was cornered, and I had my trump card left over, the form of reversion potion. Time to take your medicine, Evil Steve. I gave him the potion, and in the instant, he transformed back into the reindeer he once was.
Wow, I finally feel like myself again.
I don't feel like being so evil anymore.
Glad to hear it, Steve. How about you help me free all these prisoners then? I'd like my dog back, Cindy Lou wants her grandpa back, and everyone else just wants to go home.
Yes, Zozo, of course. Now where did I put that key?
With evil Steve turned back into a reindeer again, and becoming regular nice Steve, he returned to his home and seemed happy to be back to normal. I finally did steal Christmas, and also stole back all of the villagers, and Max, and Cindy Lou's grandpa, and everyone else. We all celebrated Christmas together, and had an awesome time. I may not have been that great as the Grinch, but at least I had a wonderful Christmas.
On day 1, I spawned in as a lava wither. Wow, I'm so little, and I only have 4 hearts. I can still hover in the air a bit though, and yes, I can throw flaming wither skulls. Awesome. They don't seem very powerful though. It looked like I was in a town of some sort. All of a sudden, I was attacked by some villagers. One of them threw shears at me. How rude, but I'm keeping the shears. Hey, I know I threw some wither skulls, but I didn't hit anyone. I wasn't doing anything to you. I hurried and flew away, slowly. I wasn't very fast yet. Man, that was mean, but I can't afford to fight right now. I found a little cave and managed to find a corner that seemed safe. Tomorrow, I'll gather some supplies. And with that, I fell asleep. On day 2, I woke up feeling refreshed. I better get some supplies so I can build a shelter for myself. I actually liked the cave I was living in, so I decided to stay there. I chopped down some trees, and as I hit them, I saw that the trees were catching on fire. Oh, whoops! Smokey the Bear is going to be so mad at me. I'd have to be careful about what I touched, since it seems like I was pretty hot, literally. I had enough wood to make some tools for myself though. They were simple, but they did the trick. Then I almost made myself a nice little nook in the cave, but the pickaxe broke. I went to craft some stone tools, and while crafting, the crafting table set on fire. Oh man, I'll have to figure out a solution to this. I noticed that my hunger bar was getting a little low, but I didn't really know what withers like to eat. I guess I would have to go out and try a few things. I flew around the forest and found some mushrooms and other berries. I tried them, but it seemed like withers didn't like mushrooms. Blech, looks like no fungi for this wither. I continued on and saw some animals. Maybe I would like some eggs or chicken. Sorry guys, I ate the raw chicken, but I didn't like that either, and it barely refilled my hunger bar. I explored some more, but it started to get dark, so I decided to head home for the night. I'll try looking for some other food tomorrow. Maybe a nice salad? On day 3, I went looking around for some plants and grass. I went for the grass, but it only dropped seeds. Then I had the idea to use the shears on it, and voila, I got some dried grass. I decided to eat some dried grass, and finally it refilled my hunger a decent amount. Weird, but whatever does the trick, I guess. As I was eating, I thought I saw something moving behind a tree. Hello? I didn't hear anything, so I assumed I was alone. I kept eating my dry grass. I went exploring and realized that I was on an island. The water was so clear and beautiful, I wanted to touch it. I reached out, and it hurt me. I don't think I like water anymore. I mean, I'm literally made of lava, so it makes sense. I made sure to gather up some grass for later. I flew away from the shore. I decided to explore closer to the center of the island. There were lots of trees and bushes. There seemed to be a mountain in the middle of the island. Wait, no, it was a volcano. Oh, wow. I flew a little closer to the lower part of the volcano and realized there was some lava inside. Ooh, that feels nice. All of a sudden, some lava spewed up at me, hitting me out of the air. Ouch! I quickly flew away and headed back to my cave for the night. On days 4 to 5, I left the cave to go exploring some more. I realized later that someone was following me. I wasn't sure what it was, but I could see it darting away when I wasn't looking. I decided to hide behind some rocks and then pop out at it. It came around the rock, and I scared it. Ah! Ah! It was just a little butterfly. Hey, what are you doing following me?
I'm not.
Okay, sure. I kept going and waited again for the butterfly to come around the bend of a rock. You are following me, admit it.
Fine, I am, but I need your help.
Me? What can I help with?
You need to keep the island from exploding.
What? The butterfly sighed and flew away anxiously.
The island has been shaking and there have been small lava explosions. The town wise woman said that the island is going to be destroyed with a huge explosion, but it can be prevented by a hero.
Me?
The town summoned you and you came, but one villager and his family were opposed to the whole thing, and he's the one that attacked you.
Rude.
Right? Anyway, you're our only hope.
Why me?
I assume it's because you're made of lava?
That would make sense, but I have no idea how to do that. I need to talk to the village wise woman.
Agreed.
The butterfly, who called herself Vanessa, led the way. On days 6 to 8, we arrived back at the village. We saw a few people around, but not many.
Those are the people who attacked you, Bruce and his son Bobby.
Vanessa pointed out some villagers outside with some pitchforks. They were arguing with some of the other villagers.
Here, I know how to get to the wise woman's house.
Vanessa led me around the back of some houses when we arrived at a home with a bell hanging outside. Nice.
I've been expecting you, young hero.
I flipped around to see a wise old woman with a basket of various dried grass on the table next to her.
I assume you are hungry.
Yes, thank you. She welcomed us in and she made Vanessa some tea.
You want to know how to defeat the volcano?
Well, I don't even believe that I can. I'm so small.
You can. You just have a few steps to take.
She brought out what looked like an orb.
I knew that the volcano would erupt someday. The villagers turned to me to help, and I gave them a solution, but some would not listen. They will seek you out to hurt you. They believe you are evil and have ill intent.
Why would they think I'm evil?
Some withers are, but that is a choice, young friend. You choose your path. And for the sake of our island, I hope you choose wisely.
The orb suddenly started to glow, and I saw a figure inside. It looked like me, but bigger and stronger.
You can gain the ability to control the lava and tame the volcano, but it will take time. You will need to complete tasks in order to become the hero we so desperately need.
What do I need to do?
Only you will be able to know. The volcano will speak to you.
Speak to me? Interesting. It had gotten late, so the woman invited us to spend the night. On days 9 to 10, Vanessa and I woke up and went outside to collect some food from the old woman. Before we left, the wise woman said that in the vision, she also saw our struggles with setting things on fire. That's when she tossed out a cobblestone crafting table. Just what we need, thanks. Vanessa started to fly away.
I need to take care of some things, but you should go see what Bobby, one of the villagers, is doing.
I went ahead, and that's when I noticed a villager, who I assumed was Bobby, was outside among the other townsfolk. He looked angry. Then all of a sudden, he jabbed his pitchfork at an innocent villager.
Defend them.
Where did that voice come from? I decided to listen to it. Hey, leave them alone! I dashed over to help the villager and stop Bobby.
Get back, you devil! We don't want you here!
Bobby tried to stab at me, but I moved out of the way. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to save the island. Just please stop hurting people. Bobby looked surprised.
You're not going to eat us?
Ew, gross. I mean, no, why would I do that? Bobby looked shocked and he lowered his pitchfork.
My father has been telling everyone that withers are evil and can never be trusted. They feed on the souls of men.
Well, I definitely don't. I just like grass. Bobby seemed confused, but also relieved. He looked at me and nodded.
I will follow you, Tiny Wither. I know that I had my doubts, but you seem like you really care about our people and our island.
And I did. I knew they were just trying to make their way in the world like me. We could all live together in harmony. Just then, Bobby's father, Bruce, ran out of the house with a pitchfork. He ran towards me, but Bobby blocked him.
Dad, don't hurt him. He's just trying to help.
Get out of the way, boy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Then Bruce jabbed his pitchfork at Bobby.
Defend them.
Hey, leave them alone.
I spun towards Bruce, pushing him away. As I did, I threw one of my tiny little flaming wither skulls at him. It wasn't much, but it did a little bit of damage. It also gave him some wither effect.
You see? He's an evil creature. He will only cause pain and misery wherever he goes.
I am not evil. The only evil here is you. And with that, threw another flaming wither skull. It didn't take Bruce out, but it did bring him down.
Stop him. Make sure he doesn't hurt our friend again.
Bobby smiled at me and chained Bruce up, took his pitchforks, and took him off to the jail.
I'll come for you, Wither. You won't succeed in your evil plan.
Bobby came back over as Vanessa flew back as well.
Thank you.
Zozo.
Zozo. Thank you, Zozo. You are a welcome friend.
All of a sudden, I felt a power surge through me, and I leveled up into a slightly bigger wither. I had more hearts, and my flaming wither skulls seemed more powerful too. Then I heard the ethereal voice again.
Well done, Zozo.
I looked around, but I didn't see where it came from.
Wow, neat.
Vanessa flew around me and did a little happy dance? I don't know, but it looked fun.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thanks. Now let's see what my new wither skulls can do. I launched some skulls and saw that they did more damage than before. There was more room to grow, but this was definitely a good start. I felt amazing. I also felt a warmth in my heart. I think the voice I heard was the volcano calling to me. I defended the people, and it was happy. On days 11 to 12, Bobby helped me build a house in the village. Well, it was more like a nice cave in the side of a rock, since I would burn wood if I touched it. We figured that I should stay close. Vanessa flew in and saw that I was making a new home, and informed me that while she was gone before, she had decorated my old cave. But now that I was building a new place to live, she was sad I wouldn't be using her improvements. I told her not to worry, as I planned on bringing everything she had done in the old base to this new one. She seemed to like that and did her little happy dance. As I made my way to the cave, I noticed some spiders outside of it. They weren't too much of a threat and I took them out easily. Easy peasy. I ate a bit of grass while looking at the new entrance of the cave, and one of the small spiders jumped up behind me and tried to bite me. I took it out with one hit. I went in and gathered my things, but before I could grab all of them, a huge spider dropped down from the ceiling. Aw, gross!
Who are you calling gross, you three-headed freak?
Hey, that's not very nice. The spider lunged at me and I dodged around him. I was able to use my fireballs, but he kept getting hits in. I didn't think I could defeat him, but I managed to take him down. Phew, that was close. I guess I wasn't as strong as I thought. I still had a long ways to go before confronting the volcano. I gathered the rest of my things and headed back to the village.
On days 13 to 15, I made my way back to my new cave. On the way, I noticed a small alcove and decided to mine out some materials. I found some cobblestone, iron, clay, blackstone, diorite, and of course, some flowers. Perfect, I can make these into better tools and armor. I can also use them to upgrade my base. I made my way back to the village with my new materials, excited about what I had found. When I got back, some of the houses were on fire. Vanessa flew up to me.
Zozo, the volcano erupted. It was just a small one, but some fireballs fell down from the sky and burned up some houses.
I looked around and knew I needed help. Bobby threw an empty bucket at me, and I hurried to the ocean to help take out the fire with the water bucket. Since I wasn't touching the water directly, I was fine and didn't get hurt. I asked Bobby to come with me, and we mined out some more stone. We needed to fireproof the houses, just in case. We helped the villagers make some improvements to their homes so they wouldn't catch fire again. It was hard work, but we all felt a little safer afterwards. Except I didn't get why the volcano was telling me to do things and then attacking people. There had to be some sort of explanation. While I thought about that, I decided to finish up my cave home by adding all of the things I had gotten from my old base. I also used some of the materials I had mined earlier, and last of all, I smelted down the iron so that I could craft some better tools and armor. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to the voice again.
Be strong for them.
I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I needed to find out. I went to the wise woman again and told her that the volcano had spoken to me. I also told her I didn't understand why it would attack the villagers.
To answer that question, you must talk to Bruce.
Bruce? The guy that tried to hurt me?
Precisely.
I didn't understand why, but I'm sure I would figure it out.
Subscribe.
Subscribe? Well, I guess if the volcano said it, then it's pretty important. I made my way out of the house into the jail cell where Bruce was being kept. I need to talk to you, Bruce.
Never.
He spit at me. Why do you hate me so much? He ignored me. I guess I could try again later. I headed out and went to find Bobby and Vanessa. I told them all about the volcano speaking to me and about Bruce. Bobby didn't seem surprised.
My dad doesn't really talk that much. It would take a miracle to find out what he knows.
Great, off to a strong start. I got back to my cave and made some better upgrades to my house. I even built Vanessa a little nook to stay in. She seemed to really like it.
Thanks, Zozo. You're awesome.
She really did know how to put a smile on my faces. On days 20 to 22, I woke up with that same voice in my head.
Be strong for them.
Can you at least tell me how? Silence. Great. I got up and decided to go out to the beachfront to look for some things and gather supplies. It was beautiful, but I had learned my lesson about water. Just then, a huge crab came out and tried to snatch me. Luckily, I was made of lava and I burnt him.
Ouch, that's rude. I wanted to eat you.
Trust me, you don't want to eat me. The crab looked at me, confused.
You're not a shrimp with 3 heads?
No, I'm a lava wither. Zozo, to be exact.
A lava wither? Haven't seen one of those since the last one was summoned.
Wait, there was another one? When? The crab clicked his claws for a minute and thought.
Probably like 40 years ago. Something like that. That was a small thing then.
This was new information. Thanks, you've been a big help.
I would say thanks to you, but you're not a shrimp, so I'm even hungrier.
And with that, the crab skittered away. What a weird guy. We had almost forgotten why we came to the beach, but then remembered and picked up some more sand. On days 23 to 26, I headed back to the village and started smelting the sand. Vanessa and Bobby came to say good morning. I told Bobby and Vanessa about what I learned from the crab.
Another wither was summoned? I wonder why nobody ever mentioned it.
Yeah, I wonder. I decided to talk to the wise woman again. She would have been around then, so she must know something. I confronted her and she sighed.
I had hoped that Bruce would have told you, but I suppose I must.
She grabbed her orb again and I saw images flash across it.
About 40 years ago, 2 young men in the village decided to play with magic. They had read about withers and decided that they wanted to summon one. They grabbed the items required from a weird magical room. They went about it correctly, but there are always risks. Once the wither was summoned, using magma blocks and wither skulls, it befriended the 2 young men. They kept it secret for a long time, but the wither wanted to be free. The boys promised that they would let him go, but they never did. The wither grew bitter and despised humans, especially the ones who had summoned him. One day, he managed to break free from its bonds. There was an argument between the 3, but the wither had had enough. He attacked the village and the 2 young men.
Let me guess.
Bruce was one of those young men. The other died trying to save Bruce's life. His name was Marcus.
So what happened to the wither?
It laid the village to ruins, destroying most, and then escaped, taking captivity in the volcano. It grew over time and now inhabits it. It seeks revenge on all humans, but it's been biding its time.
So it's not the volcano that is attacking people. It's the wither living inside. The old woman nodded.
But the spirit of the volcano has been battling with it for many years. It has grown weak, nearly on the brink of collapse. That is why we need you, Zozo. You must restore the volcano and defeat the wither corrupting it.
That was a lot to process. This wither had been growing for over 40 years. How could a small wither like me stand against something so powerful? On days 27 to 31, I woke up and knew where I needed to go. I went to Bruce and told him what I had learned. He looked tired today, not as angry.
I know what I did was wrong. I messed with power that I had no right to use. I wanted something special, and I treated it like garbage. It's all my fault that this is happening, but I can't fix it.
He seemed so sad, but I knew what I needed to say. That's why I'm here. I will protect you. All of you. Bruce looked at me and he smiled.
I owe you my life, Zozo. Thank you.
I unlocked the gate and let Bruce out of the jail. He couldn't embrace me, so he bowed a little bit instead.
I will follow you, little wither. You are our strength.
Just then, I felt another surge of power, and I leveled up into a bigger wither. I was now adult-sized. I felt that calm again, and then I heard the voice.
Well done, Zozo.
I was on the right path. Now, I just needed to prepare. On days 32 to 35, I tested out my new abilities. I could shoot bigger fireballs and could even fly faster. Bobby heard the explosion and came to take a look at what was happening. He was impressed. Bobby gave some materials and helped to set up an obstacle course with some targets to train with. We had to keep some water on hand though, so I wouldn't burn up all the trees.
Careful, Zozo!
I'm trying. I just have no idea what to expect. I'll be fighting another wither, and I'm not even sure what tricks he has up his sleeve. Just then, I saw Bruce. He came over and decided to help me out too. He showed me how to do the crawling exercise. I was too big for it, so I just flew over the obstacle. Bruce was not impressed. He then showed me how to aim my shots with some target practice. I think I'm getting the hang of it. I had hit the target, but Bruce suddenly drew his bow at me. He started shooting, and I successfully dodged some arrows, but some hit me. When he stopped, he told me he was trying to teach me how to dodge. You could have given me a heads up first, but hey, thanks for your help.
No problem, Zozo. Anything for you.
Anything?
Within reason.
Good to know. He smiled, and we all headed back to the village for some food. When we got there was a commotion at the center square. What's going on?
A small eruption came up out of the ground and swallowed a house.
We looked, and indeed, there was a large spot where the house should have been. Instead, there was a pool of lava. Was anyone inside?
No, thank goodness, but it's not safe here.
The villagers all argued until Bruce hushed them.
We will take care of this. We will fortify the village and take precautions.
The villagers seemed a little at ease, but still scared. I was going to give it my all to protect these people. I just needed to know what to do next. On days 36 to 39, I waited for the voice of the volcano to guide me. There wasn't anything, and I felt a little bit frustrated. Why aren't you talking to me? Nothing. I decided that I would just wait, patiently, or at least try to. Bruce and I helped to further fortify the village. He threw us some materials, and we made some cobblestone walls. As we were doing so, Bruce brought up another idea.
Hey, Zozo, we want to build a statue in your honor. Also, as a reminder of hope. Do you have anything in mind?
I thought for a minute and then told Bruce what I would like. He smiled.
That sounds perfect.
We gathered the needed supplies and started to clear a spot for the statue. We built part of the base and hope to get it all done in a few days. Can you tell what it is? On days 40 to 43, we went out to explore the island. I guess I had some other things I needed to do before the volcano would speak to me again. We went looking around the volcano when something caught my eye. It was a large cave. I went in and saw that there were some diamonds. I quickly mined them all up, along with some other materials. With this, I can make some diamond armor. Neat! I noticed some lava running through a part of the tunnel and wondered if that's how the houses were being swallowed up. I tried to create some barriers just in case. It felt so nice and warm, I decided to take a break and enjoy the lava. Just then, I felt something grab me from behind. I managed to squirm around and saw a giant squid was dragging me into the water. I wasn't burning him because his tentacles were wet, so I was helpless. Oh no! He swam into the water, pulling me with him. When I touched the water, I solidified and was basically useless. I tried to gurgle to make him stop, but he kept swimming further and further down. I saw my hearts dropping and thought this was the end. Just then, the squid released me into an alcove. Out of the water, I transformed back into a lava wither. My warm heart was enough to melt the stone back into lava. Hey!
There you go, friend. I have saved you.
Saved me? You almost destroyed me. The squid looked confused.
Wait, you're not Lily.
No, who's Lily?
My daughter!
I looked around and saw some axolotls coming up to me.
That's not her, Paul. You need to stop snatching people.
I looked at the axolotl and she looked at me. There was absolutely no resemblance.
Sorry about Paul. He is Lily's friend and she disappeared a few days ago. We think she might have been kidnapped by the other clan of axolotls. They live nearby, but their keep is protected by a shark.
Well, it sounds like you need help. I'll go look for her and bring her back to you.
Really? Wow, that is so kind of you.
Here, you will probably need this.
The axolotl gave me a diving suit. I guess that solved the problem of me not being able to go into the water. Off onto another adventure. On days 44 to 49, Paul guided us close to the rival axolotl clan. He suddenly stopped and told us he saw the blue axolotl somewhere around here one time, but not sure exactly where. We thanked him anyway. I was close to the surface and took a look to see where I was. I recognized the area. I was next to the dry grass field. This was a great opportunity to use the diamonds I got, so I crafted a diamond sword, pickaxe, and shovel. That's when the crafting table caught on fire. Ah, not this again. The bench broke before we could craft all of the diamonds. Darn it. Well, at least I got some tools. Better than nothing, I guess. That's when I noticed a nice-looking lagoon. Inside of it, I spotted a cave. It seemed empty, so I made my way underwater to take a look. Inside the cave, I thought I could see the axolotls hiding in there. Just then, I was attacked by a shark. Hey, I'm just trying to save Lily. The shark didn't respond. He kept attacking me. Luckily, I had crafted a new sword, so I was able to take him out pretty quickly. I swam up to the cave and emerged from the water onto a dry area. The axolotls looked terrified of me. I just want to take Lily back home. One larger blue axolotl moved forward.
Lily is where she belongs. She loves me and wants to stay here.
I didn't see Lily anywhere, so I really didn't trust this guy. Then I heard a voice.
Help! I'm in here!
That must have been Lily. Her own choice, huh? The blue axolotl jumped at me and attacked. The other axolotls backed away, clearly frightened. I was able to take down the leader quickly, and the other axolotls thanked me.
Thank you, stranger. We've been captive to Blake for far too long. He wouldn't let us out, and he kidnapped Lily as a way to start a war with the pink axolotls.
Why?
He was obsessed with Lily for months and wanted to marry her, but she said no. Then a few days ago, he captured her.
Well, you're all safe now. I went around the corner and found Lily trapped in a cave. I freed her and we all left the lagoon. I knew what I had to do. On days 50 to 53, I went back to the alcove of the pink axolotls with the blue axolotls and explained the situation. They made a truce, and Lily's mom was more than happy to have her daughter home.
We owe you a great debt, Zozo. Take this as a token of our gratitude.
Then Lily's mom gave me a huge stash of diamonds. Wow, thank you!
Of course. If what I heard is true, you are embarking on a great quest to save our island. You will need it more than we do.
I thanked them again and then started the long journey back home. On days 54 to 57, I heard the voice of the volcano speak to me.
Sacrifice for them.
Sacrifice? I could do that. I just needed to figure out how. I quickly made myself an armor stand and hung my diving suit up. As I got to town, I noticed that the wise woman was outside looking at the sky.
Welcome back, Zozo. You have been gone for a long while.
I got mistaken for an axolotl and ended up saving the kidnapped daughter and joining the clans together.
Yes, as I expected.
I looked at her. She was still looking at the sky. She was an odd one, she was.
Another 2 houses have collapsed while you've been gone. We did our best, but the Wither grows angry. He is nearly on the brink of taking over the volcano.
I was really worried. Maybe the villagers could leave the island and find refuge somewhere else. I suggested it to the wise woman.
We don't run away from our problems, Zozo.
Not run away, just stay somewhere else.
We are safer here with you.
I turned and saw Bruce and Bobby approaching me. Are you sure?
Yes, young friend. All will be well soon enough.
We all looked at the sky together for a minute. Then Bobby leaned over and whispered to me.
What are we looking at?
We slowly backed away as the wise woman continued to look at the sky. We went and gathered some more supplies so we could continue to work on the statue. It was basically done, we just needed a few finishing touches. We also built some new houses and made sure that the foundations were solid. We also built them over the water in hopes that the other Wither would be less likely to attack them. The Wither would try to take us down, but we would prevail. On days 58 to 62, I woke up to Vanessa flying around nervously. What's wrong, Vanessa?
I think there's a storm coming, Zozo. Look!
I looked outside and sure enough, it started to rain. I guess I could try to walk around in my diving suit, but it would definitely make me slower. I don't think I should go outside.
I can't either. One raindrop could really hurt me badly.
I hadn't thought about that, but it made sense that Vanessa was pretty fragile. Her wings were paper thin. It's okay though, we can have a day in. We can play a game. Vanessa flew around me excitedly. We ended up playing some games, and she shared stories of her family. Where are they now?
I'm not sure exactly. They all migrated when I was still little. My wing was hurt, so I couldn't go with them.
That made me really sad. So they abandoned you? Vanessa landed. Her wings drooped a little bit. It's okay, Vanessa. I won't abandon you. I promise. Her wings lifted a little bit, and she fluttered around again.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a good friend.
Sacrifice for them.
I sighed. I'm trying. Bobby and Bruce eventually came over looking for us. We explained the situation, and they helped build a little overhang so we could travel to and from the village safely. I was really grateful and made some food for everyone.
A little while later, I took the diamonds I had been given and made myself some nicer armor. Wow, this stuff was amazing. I could take on anything with this. On days 63 to 66, I went out to go test my new armor. I went out to the jungle area where I hadn't been before. Maybe I could find some more food items. I was getting a little bit low on dried grass and only had 5 peas left. Vanessa had told me about something called chocolate, and it didn't sound half bad. I would go looking for some cocoa beans. I was foraging through the trees when I entered a clearing. It looked like there was something written in the ground. It was that thing that the volcano had said to me. Be sure to listen to that little voice in your head telling you to subscribe. I started gathering some dried grass when all of a sudden I heard some loud screaming. I didn't see anyone around me, but then I realized it was coming from the sky. The volcano was spewing fireballs. I hurried and dodged around them, but one hit me. It was small, but it was enough to knock me over. Apparently, these fireballs are extremely hot since they set me on fire. What is this magic? I'm not supposed to burn. Another fireball hit me. Ouch, stop that.
What's the matter? Can't take a little heat?
I looked around but didn't see anyone. It sounded like the voice of the volcano, but much harsher. Hello?
Small little wither, you are nothing, but I can make you great.
I assumed it was the wither inhabiting the volcano. I'm not listening to you.
Why not? We are, after all, brothers.
I'm not your brother. You are a bully, preying on the innocent.
Innocent? They captured me and kept me as a pet. I knew I was destined for more. I had my revenge with the power I possessed, but I am so much more now. The time will come when I obtain all the power of the volcano, and then I will truly have my revenge.
What they did was wrong, but they're sorry. You don't need to blow up the entire island because you're mad. The voice screamed and fireballs rained down around me. I tried to dodge, but I couldn't handle all of it. A fireball hit me and everything went black. On days 67 to 70, I woke up in darkness. After a minute, my body lit up the space, and I realized I was buried. Oh, great. Now I have to dig my way out. I started using my tools to chip away at the hardened lava. It took a few minutes, but I was finally able to free myself. The clearing I had been in was now just a large pool of lava. Good thing I was made of the stuff, otherwise I would have been trapped. I flew over the hot magma and started to make my way back to the village. If the wither had thrown this big of a tantrum here, I'm sure he did some damage to the village. When I arrived, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I realized the wither must have used up all his strength trying to hurt me. I was relieved. Just then, I saw Bobby running up to meet me.
Zozo, come quick!
I followed after him into his house. What's wrong?
It's my dad. I can't find him anywhere.
I thought for a minute, then something dawned on me. He must have gone to talk with the wither in the volcano. That's the only thing I can think of. Bobby looked sick to his stomach.
He doesn't need to do that.
He probably feels responsible, but don't worry, Bobby. I'll go find him. I hurried and flew back to my cave to gather some supplies. On my way out, I noticed Bobby was waiting for me with a pack on his back.
I'm coming with you.
It's too dangerous, Bobby.
It's my dad. I have to do something.
He was right. I wouldn't want to stay behind either.
He will probably go back to where it all started, on the desolate side of the island.
Then that's where we'll go. On days 71 to 74, we went tromping through the island slowly. Bobby couldn't fly like me, but I wanted to keep a low profile anyways. We mostly traveled in the jungle and gathered food as we went. Hey, more cocoa beans. I totally forgot to make chocolate when I was in the village. I'll have to do that when I get back.
Sacrifice for them.
Sacrifice what? The cocoa beans? I think the volcano was losing it. We kept traveling and came upon a small pond. We made a small shelter and decided to stay there for the night. Bobby couldn't really sleep because he was so worried about his dad. It's okay, Bobby. We'll find him.
I sure hope so.
It was quiet for a while, but then out of nowhere came some more spiders. Ah, gross! Bobby helped me fight them off, and in no time they were all gone.
Now I really won't be able to sleep.
I'll keep watch. Don't worry. Bobby nodded and then managed to eventually fall asleep. I hoped I could keep my promise to him. He really needed his dad, and I didn't want to see him lose him. On days 75 to 78, we kept trekking through the jungle. I could tell that Bobby was really tired, but he kept pushing through. We came to a large cliffside and realized that we needed to climb up it. We started to ascend, but then the island started to shake.
Zozo!
The island kept shaking, and then suddenly the cliffside split. Bobby fell halfway into the cliff and managed to hold onto a ledge. I looked down and noticed Bobby was barely holding on. I went to grab him, but remembered I would burn him.
Zozo, move!
I maneuvered around them and managed to get to the ledge. Then I mined some blocks and created a safe path for Bobby to get back to safety.
Wow, that was intense.
You're telling me. We waited for a minute, just in case there was another earthquake.
I hope the villagers are okay.
I'm sure it's fine. I wasn't too sure, but I had to be hopeful.
I need a break and some water.
I nodded and let him rest for a bit. We decided to make camp and I made a small shelter. We set up a fire and Bobby was able to fall asleep right away. Having a near-death experience will do that to you. On day 79 to 84, we trekked further down the side of the volcano. We finally made it to the bottom, and just as expected, there was a barren wasteland. Everything was dried up and dusty. Bobby looked around in awe.
This is
Empty?
sad.
I nodded in agreement. So much destruction and pain. It needed to be healed and restored to the way it once was. We started to make our way through, but then Bobby was attacked by some snakes.
Ouch!
He stabbed them with his pitchfork, but more were getting bites in. Hey, stop it! I threw fireballs at them and managed to take them out, but Bobby looked pretty bad. You okay, buddy?
I think I've been poisoned. I need some medicine. It's in my bag.
He managed to grab some and take it. The wilderness is not kind to you, my friend. Bobby laughed.
No, it is not. After this, I'm never leaving home again.
His laugh got quiet.
I wonder how my dad is doing with all of this.
You're weak. I'll go get you some food.
Where?
I looked around. Touché. Instead, I located a large dead branch and severed part of it off. I gave it to Bobby to use as a crutch.
Thanks.
We slowly but surely made our way further into the wasteland. On days 85 to 89, Bobby and I arrived at what looked like the remnants of a village. Some of the stones were still there, but there wasn't much.
This must be it. My dad has got to be close by.
Bobby threw down his crutch and went scrambling around the ruins. I went looking around but didn't see much. Then I noticed something shining across the land. I flew toward it and saw a metal-looking container buried in the ground. I unearthed it and discovered it was a cage. Bobby came up beside me.
Is that?
It's where I kept him.
We both flipped around to see Bruce emerging from a small hole in the ground. It was partially hidden by a rock, which is why we didn't notice it in the first place. Bruce approached us and touched the side of the cage.
It's where I kept Aiden, the other wither.
Bruce seemed really upset and he started to cry.
I've made so many mistakes. All of this is my fault. I need to fix what I broke.
Not like this, Dad. Don't sacrifice yourself. You only give him what he wants.
Bruce didn't say much else, but we followed him into a small cave. We stayed there for a while to rest up while I devised a plan. On days 90 to 94, I woke up to Bobby yelling at Bruce.
It's not your responsibility.
Yes, it is. Don't try to stop me, Bobby. I'm doing this for you. For all of you.
What about Zozo? He promised he would help us, and he will.
I can't let someone innocent pay for my mistakes. Not anymore. Sacrifice for them.
I knew what I needed to do. Bruce went back to his room in a huff, and I came up to Bobby. I know what I have to do. Just promise that you won't follow me, and make sure your dad stays here.
Is this goodbye, Zozo?
No, I'll be back. Don't you worry. Bobby nodded and then went up to the opening of his dad's room. We lured Bruce towards the cage, telling him that we found something interesting in there. When Bruce wasn't looking, we pulled him inside the cage and locked the door. He looked stunned. This is for your own good, Bruce. Don't follow me. He sat there and begged me.
Please, Zozo.
It's okay, Bruce. It's what I'm supposed to do. On days 95 to 97, I continued flying toward the volcano. It spewed lava here and there, but I dodged past it. When I was a good distance away, I stopped and hovered. Aiden, I've come to talk to you. The voice I heard before let out an ugly scream and spewed more lava at me.
You dare to call me what that monster named me?
I'm here to take his place, Aiden. I know you hate him, but he needs to live. Take me instead. I saw the lava spew out further, almost hitting me.
Why would you sacrifice yourself for such measly humans?
Because it's the right thing to do. The voice laughed.
Ha ha ha. Oh, this will be fun.
I moved closer to the volcano to see if I could spot Aiden. Suddenly, the volcano reached out and snatched me, pulling me into its burning embrace. Everything went black. On day 98, I woke up inside the lava. I heard the voice of the volcano.
Well done, Zozo.
I felt a powerful surge run through me, and I burst from the ground into the air. I leveled up into a full-sized wither. But then I felt a different kind of power. It was much bigger and stronger than me. I realized I could control the volcano. I focused my energy and forced Aiden to fly out. He was out of the volcano, but the fight wasn't over. He was as big as I was, probably stronger. But what choice did I have? I flew toward him, spewing lava and shooting witherheads. He fired witherheads back at me, but at long last, one of my wither skulls knocked Aiden down. On day 99, I approached Aiden. He looked like a normal wither like me, but he shook with anger.
How dare you! That was my home!
You have no right to use all that power for evil. This ends here, Aiden. I commanded the lava to burst up and around him and solidify to his body, caging him in. He was stuck, and he knew it.
Let me go! I have to make them pay! They're all evil and can't change. They don't deserve to live.
You're wrong, Aiden. And with that, I slashed at Aiden and defeated him.
Thank you, my friend. You have proven yourself worthy of my power.
The volcano spoke to my mind, and I felt a stronger connection with it. I was now its guardian, if I stayed worthy of it. It felt right. On day 100, I freed Bruce and told him the good news. He followed me and Bobby back to the village, where we all lived happily and safely. The people celebrated, and I finally made some chocolate chip cookies. We also finished the last part of the statue, and it looked awesome. Everything was right on the island. Finally.